AEW Dynamite tonight, man. A lot of conflicted opinions so far. Some say it was good, some say it was bad. I don't really give a shit what you have to say. The only thing that matters here is what Jesse and I thought. I thought it was a very good show. I mean, after last week, it certainly was an upgrade. But AEW tonight, they gave you some build to Revolution. We got one more week after this week on the road to Revolution. MJF and Bryan Danielson in what was a tremendous back and forth between them to build to their Iron Man match. Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta put on a pay-per-view like banger in the open of tonight's show. And Tony Khan, or I guess Adam Cole, baby, announced a brand new show. Not really wrestling related, more of a reality-based show. Tony Khan and Adam Cole tonight announced that AEW will be going and giving away all access. Jesse and I are going to talk about that. It may seem a little underwhelming to you, and believe me, we will talk about it. And we're going to talk about the lack of Revolution build and what's going on there, being that we got Jesse on the show tonight because it's a major topic of discussion in the IWC. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an action-packed show. I'm going to the venue. I got my cold beverage. You guys know the music playing. I got one question for you. What the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
Guys, thank you so very much for joining us right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for February 22nd, 2023. I'm your host, JD from New York. As always, is that a fucking box of Bootios behind you? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing over there?
I don't see any Bootios behind me. What are you talking about?
You eat Bootio? Look at this New Day shill over here. Oh my God. What are you doing?
Bruh. If there's something wrong with your cameras, don't blame me. This is an AEW podcast, bro. Stay focused. Let's go.
It's an AEW. Yeah. What shirt you got on there? Is that a WWE licensed merchandise shirt too? I can't see. What is that?
Cobra Kai, homie.
Cobra Kai. One of the most overrated shows in the history of existence.
Did you watch it yet?
No.
I'm looking at you on social media looking for advice. So what show should I watch? I'm looking for a nice show to watch on my fucking couch with my fucking cats. I keep giving you shows to watch. Did you watch The Sopranos yet?
No, I got Sopranos. I got Game of Thrones. I got fucking Cobra Kai. Come on, man.
Get on with the show.
Have you watched The Last of Us yet? Is what I wanted to know. Have you watched The Last of Us yet? Are you too busy playing the fucking game?
No, I'm done with the game. I beat the game.
Are you gonna watch the show now?
I just don't have HBO Max, man.
I may have to. Well, actually, do I? I think I have an account.
I gotta get a free trial or something. I can't keep doing more subscriptions, man. If somebody want to share HBO Max.
Yeah, someone share an HBO Max account with this fucking clown. Anyway,
hit my DMs. I'll finish that shit in 2 days. You
guys know where we are, man. We're at the OTS venue. It's AEW Dynamite.
Oh,
JD
yeah, right.
from New York. Jesse, Chi-Town Smart here. I actually liked tonight's show, bro. I thought tonight's show was a lot better, leagues better than what was on paper, and leagues better than what it was last week. But I want to dive in at the top because I think the wrestling tonight was inconsequential. There really wasn't anything major that happened in the ring besides that MJF and Bryan Danielson segment, which was absolutely fucking amazing. We're going to get into the announcement that Tony Khan had announced was going to take place on tonight's show about a nice 48 hours ago. And I was actually worried. And I'm going to be, I'm usually honest on this show, and Jesse is usually very honest on this show. We're going to be very open and honest with a lot of what we are feeling here, because this is the only time that Jesse is with us on Wednesdays, unless I ask him to do something major, if there's a major news story. But, you know, Dynamite, they have announced, or Tony Khan has announced, that there will be additional programming. Now, it's not in the way that you are thinking. They're not adding a third hour of Dynamite. It's not going to be like Monday Night Raw. They're not adding a second hour of Rampage, which I do feel that they should get all their ducks in a row with Rampage, because it's absolutely unwatchable the way it is taped and at that time slot. And they did less than 300,000 viewers on a Friday night at 7 p.m., which is, you know, not their normal time slot. But, you know, we could get into that a little bit later. They announced that they are going all access, Jesse. AEW All Access, a new reality-based TV show that will be premiering in March on TBS. TBS has greenlit its first new unscripted series of 2023, further expanding its AEW franchise with AEW All Access, a follow-up doc, or follow doc, from the perspectives of the league's biggest stars. The new series, which was announced during another episode of Dynamite tonight, is slated to premiere in March. Now, this is coming from I guess TBS put this out, a little letter here to everybody in the media. Billed as the ultimate behind-the-scenes experience for the fans, the series will feature Adam Cole, Dr. Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, Tate Conti, the Young Bucks, Saraya, Wardlow, Eddie Kingston, along with AEW CEO, GM, and head of creative, as if you didn't know, Jesse. I mean, he's wearing so many hats in the company. You know, Tony Khan. Each episode will showcase AEW stars as they navigate the week-to-week challenges to remain at the top, and will track the rivalries between talent as they vie for fans' attention. Over the course of the series, viewers will get a chance to follow the contentious lead-up to AEW's major wrestling events and matches. AEW All Access will complement TBS and TNT's portfolio of top-rated wrestling content, including AEW Dynamite and Rampage, respectively. AEW has such an amazingly loyal and dedicated fan base that brings in more than 4 million viewers to TBS every Wednesday night, says Jason Sarlanis, president of Turner Networks, ID, and HLN. With All Access, we are bringing that incredible audience a whole new way to experience the wrestling universe that they love. We have a powerful partnership with Tony Khan and AEW. With this new series, we are expanding the franchise in a way that invites viewers inside the world of wrestling like never before. Now, this was announced tonight, and I know the internet was running wild with rumors about what this announcement could be. Some people were claiming that it could have been a Ring of Honor TV announcements, but Tony Khan announced that with Sports Illustrated a couple of weeks ago, so I didn't really think it was going to be that or anything Ring of Honor related. I thought would have been a complete letdown. Then we had people claiming that it was going to be the announcement of a UK show because AEW is going to the UK sometime this summer for the first time ever. Other people thought it was going to be the announcement of Forbidden Door, which would have been great because I'm more excited about Forbidden Door this year with the roster fully back together than I was last year. That would have been a tremendous announcement. Maybe keeping our fingers crossed for Madison Square Garden show, but that's wishing upon a star there for Forbidden Door. But we got this. We got this announcement. Now, I know a lot of people, Jesse, think that this is a letdown, and I want to start off saying that, yes, it is a letdown because a lot of people waited for 48 hours plus for this announcement. They waited all show. This announcement was made at 9:45 p.m. during Dynamite tonight, and Tony Khan didn't even really make the announcement. He kind of spawned it off to Adam Cole, who actually announced his in-ring return as well next week, which is a great thing to see because we all missed him. But I don't think that this needed to be made tonight on Dynamite the way that people, were anticipating a much bigger announcement, Jesse. I feel like when AEW and Tony Khan hype up something, a couple of things happen. One, it kind of leads to people thinking that Tony Khan's desperate because if you line up all of what we saw this week, AEW did their lowest rating since November of 2022, and then all of a sudden it comes out with an important announcement. Of course, he's going to have people wanting to watch the show because everybody's going to want to know what he has to say, and then people are going to hang on, oh, he's just desperate for interest in the company because the company's falling off, the pay-per-view build has been shit, and this and that. And the other thing is, when you make an announcement like this and you hype it up as important announcement, and then you get that, all you're doing is kind of letting people down as far as, the announcement, and then, the show is already going to have a bad aura and a bad stigma about it because people are going to be looking at this and be like, Jesus Christ, that's the fucking announcement? Man, I don't give a shit about this show. So it's already got a negative kind of feel going into it, and we don't even know what the fucking show is going to be about. You just kind of end up disappointing people when you overhype something, and then it leads to something that really isn't, in the fans' interests. But there is more positive that comes out of this than negative because I talked to you about it before we actually went live on the air. This gives people more of a spotlighted role in the company that you don't see on television, and most importantly, for all the fucking vocal people on Twitter that want this company to die, this has done one thing only, and the most important thing, and it's strengthened the relationship between Tony Khan and Warner Discovery because they're giving Tony Khan more hours of content. They're giving them another time slot after Dynamite, another television show. If this did anything, Jesse, it solidified that Tony Khan is going to be staying with Warner Discovery and that AEW is going to be set up for a very big TV rights deal, and they're not going anywhere. The company has a huge partnership, and that's all that really matters. If anybody wants this company to stay on TNT, TBS, this is it, bro. This is TNT and TBS saying we are fully backing Tony Khan and AEW.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think this show is a really good idea.
Yes.
And I'm looking at all of the naysayers and the people who look. I've come to realize a long time ago that these kinds of things, and no matter what else he does, are gonna have his detractors. He has his haters. He has his people that just want it to fail regardless. I mean, if you imagine what this announcement should have been, and if it was something twice as good as what you thought it should have been, there was still be people out there right now talking about how the announcement was a disappointment. I've personally come to accept an announcement like this at face value. So I stopped waiting for the world on these announcements when I've got let down with the Christian Cage thing. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not excited about an announcement. That doesn't mean I just don't expect the world out of it. So when I got the announcement of this kind of show, I was actually kind of happy about it because what these people who are complaining about it don't understand is that this will give the average casual fan and new viewers and things of the sort the opportunity to get invested in the talent that they're looking at on AEW television. When fans look at WWE, they've been looking at Seth Rollins on WWE television for what, 15 years or some shit like that. I mean, Roman Reigns, they're looking at all these top stars. They've seen documentaries about them. They've been on these journeys through their careers with them. And this is an upstart company who's been here 4 years, and they're advertising on a huge platform during the NBA Finals and All-Star Game and on big network. And people are coming over, but all they're seeing is wrestling. They have nothing to get invested to as far as the characters individually. So a show like this has its bonuses. I saw some people debating about roads to the top and total bellas and shit like that. For as lame as what they were to us, to the hardcore fans, not all fans are sitting around at fucking 10 o'clock on YouTube watching podcasters talking about wrestling. They turn it off when the show goes off. So, but if there's a television show right on after where they can find out more about Adam Cole's journey, about Kenny Omega's journey, it gives them a little bit more to be invested in. Hence, they'll watch the product more, tell their friends about it more. This is only a good thing. For the people who want AEW to succeed, this is a fantastic thing. For people who want them to fail, they're going to hate it because they don't want them to expand. This is going to help the company expand.
Of course, it's going to help the company expand. This is listen, I don't like this reality-based television. I mean, this is exactly what it's going to be, reality-based television. How much reality is going to be ingrained in this show? I mean, Total Divas lasted, 9 seasons? 10 seasons? I mean, that show was on TV for fucking ever. I mean, Ms. and Mrs. is in its third season, fourth season?
Yeah.
There is a market for that type of stuff.
Yes,
it's not people. Yes, it's not going to be that type of thing. Do you know what you see on, and this, I know I talked about this months ago when this was a very, very early rumor. Do you guys watch their Road 2 series on YouTube? I know you watch those Road 2 shows, Jesse.
No, I used to.
But you know where I'm going with this. Then you know how incredibly well they're shot,
yes.
and the production value is fucking out of this world. That's exactly what you're going to get with this. Don't you think it makes for good television to see Adam Cole in the moments leading up to his return after being away since June? To know what that man is thinking, to see his body language, to see his mentality about going out there for the first time, how scared he is, and with his girlfriend there, Britt Baker, and to see the realness in what they are going through, and to see Sammy and Tay and the realness that they go through, whether you like them or not. Instead of being on their vlog, they're going to be in a backstage element at work. You're going to get to see them for who they really are backstage. Eddie Kingston was mentioned in that as well. You're going to be seeing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega on there as well. You're going to get a real in-person perspective about what everybody's thinking about. And if you guys watch those Road 2 series, it's going to be exactly like that. It's going to be raw, uncut. Don't know how much reality is going to be ingrained in this, but AEW's got free reign to do whatever they want. They could tell storylines through this. This could be something that they filmed. I'm assuming it is, a while back, and it could kind of lead to something going into a pay-per-view. Maybe this is the Adam Cole show. I mean, Adam Cole is going to be all over this thing with Britt Baker. Maybe this is something that they document with him. And you guys who have put down Adam Cole for forever because of his fucking size and his stature, and he's small and he's a vanilla midget and all this other fucking nasty shit I hear. You're going to get a different perspective of an Adam Cole. You may be a fan of Adam Cole after this fucking shit. I love the concept. Is it for me? No. But I know how important it is, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a fucking disappointment in the way you guys are thinking. But this is going to be a huge positive for the company because so many more of their stars are going to be in the mainstream. And Jesse, Variety magazine picked this shit up and immediately posted something on social media. That's a win in itself already.
That is, I didn't know that. That's fantastic news. I mean, again, this can only be a good thing. And I get it. For everyone sitting here watching us right now, I get it. It's content that's unnecessary because we already know all about these people. I get it. But for the company, this feels more like a WWE 24 series.
Yeah.
And those were shot very well, but more importantly, it got everyone even more invested into these characters, and as they're being presented. When you can see the human side behind what they do on TV, it does make you a little bit more interested in them as an individual. And I think this is very important. It might not be important to us, but to the average casual fan, I think it is. And I want to put something else out there. And man, I'm in the mood for some heat today. So let's take it.
Oh, listen, we're gonna get into a couple spicy things here. So don't hold that.
This involves this though. This involves this topic. So this might be a bad spot for the show as far as placement. What would be a better spot for it is the spot where Rampage is right now. I mean, if we had to take up a spot that we already have, a license to, that's that spot on Friday night. For Rampage, I mean, seeing us out, look, what we want is Rampage to have its own fucking night. I get it. And live. I get it. But if we can't have that, which is what I would rather have, and people are going to get pissed, Rampage would be better off not being existent anymore and just being a third hour of fucking Dynamite.
Of Dynamite, yeah.
It'd be much better served because at least it would be live.
Yes.
It would at least be live.
I absolutely agree.
I mean, I would rather have it there.
And listen, before you continue, I don't want to cut you off. We have been so against the third hour of Dynamite. So against.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the roster that they have and the live element that they produce, I mean, is it going to be that bad?
Yeah. Raw has conditioned us to be used to 3 hours of wrestling on Monday and
bored out of our fucking minds, mind you.
Yes. I mean, so if you do it and do it right, I mean, Jesus, just make it more interesting. It has a better shot. It has a better shot than being a 1 hour tape on Friday night on the back end of SmackDown. No one cares about it. No one cares about it. I'm sitting there. I'm getting tweets from one of our listeners right now who's at the show. Rampage came on and he took a live video. He said 25% of the fucking people there just started to get up and leave. Not necessarily because they have no interest in AEW anymore at that point. It's just, it's late. It's a weeknight. They have things to do in the morning. He said himself, he said he has things to do. He has to get up. He's got to go. It just runs late. Not only that, it's a tape show that you can catch. I would rather just stay there for the third hour of wrestling, man. I mean, if you're going to ask me to do that or care about Rampage, we're in its current form, I would rather have a third hour of Dynamite.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to be saying, well, why didn't they just fix what they currently have that's broken? It's not that easy.
Not that easy.
I'm assuming, I don't want to put words in the man's mouth, but I'm assuming Tony Khan knows what people are feeling about Rampage, no matter how naive he wants to be online. He knows he sees the ratings. He's a fucking analytic guy. He sees the ratings. He sees what people are saying about the show. He knows the show is broken and at a terrible time slot and on a terrible night. I wish that they would fix it. In a perfect world, like we always talked about, Rampage would be Dynamite's quote unquote SmackDown, and Dynamite is the flagship Raw of AEW. But it's not that easy. Maybe we get that in the next round of TV rights deals discussions. I don't know.
If we can get another 2 hour show to start at 6 or 7 o'clock on a different night, then we can cut Dynamite down to 2 hours and then do another 2 hour live show.
Yep.
Great. Fine. But this Rampage in its current form, no one gives a shit. I'd rather have a third hour of Dynamite. Not that I want one, but rather than follow Rampage, I would rather follow a third hour of Dynamite.
The other big thing that people are talking about, and I know I've made a very big topical discussion out of it, is the lack of story right now on AEW television. Jesse, do you feel, and we'll get into that, do you feel that AEW Revolution feels kind of off, and the build feels kind of off? I honestly feel like Tony has waited. He's announced matches. A lot of people think that Tony Khan waited a little bit too long to get matches announced for this thing. I don't find that to be a big deal, to be quite honest with you, because I mean, you and I, we're not idiots. We watch the show weekly very intently. We know what the pay-per-view is going to be. If you watch the fucking show, you know what the pay-per-view matches are going to be. I don't know why people need them to be announced. The only reason why I think that they should be announced is for the people paying to be there. They want to know what the fuck is on the show so they know what they're spending their money on. I think he's kind of let those people down. I don't give a shit he didn't announce anything because I know what the fucking show is going to be. But as far as the pay-per-view bill, bro, do you feel like it feels off and that the show is basically being spearheaded by Bryan and MJF, and maybe Moxley, Hangman, and everything else is kind of feeling like, All right. Why is that? Why does everything feel so weak going into the show?
I guess so. Here's the weird part about it. There's like 3 months between pay-per-views here. I mean, there really shouldn't be a reason why we don't have more long-term storytelling.
Yes.
So, I mean, to be heading to a pay-per-view with the feeling of, we need more importance and more of this and more of that. Immediately, it makes me go back and think, well, what have we been doing for the last 3 months?
Nothing.
Like, what have we been doing?
Nothing.
There should be at least 3 months of build going into every pay-per-view. This feels like there's about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes.
So what were we doing? If we already have the card for Revolution mapped out and ready to go, we should have the winners mapped out. We should have the next round of feuds mapped out. And we should have about 3 months of storyline for those major feuds going into the next pay-per-view. I mean, that's plenty of time to tell a compelling story. I think this whole ordeal with Roman and Sammy and the Bloodline, yes, I think it's really exposing how AEW has kind of gone away from long-term storytelling.
Not even that, bro. It's spoiled the wrestling fan. It really opened up, a new narrative in the industry. And I've always been about long-term booking. I mean, I've built, most of this podcast off of long-term booking. Like I've preached it for as long as I've been doing this as a podcaster. But, yeah, I don't want to sit here and tell you AEW doesn't have any stories, because that's not true. That would be unfair of me as a podcaster. They do have long-term stories. MJF and Bryan has been building ever since William Regal was there. I mean, that's been building. That's the only thing that feels like it's been building. Moxley and Page has been building. I don't want to take anything away from them because they made a whole story out of Hangman getting concussed by Moxley. Great. I'm looking forward to both of those matches, and they're going to be tremendous. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, another thing. They had to work around Christian Cage's injury, but it's still something that's been going on for quite a while, and we're going to get that all squared away and tied up at the pay-per-view. But I honestly feel like, and I don't want to take anything away from Ricky Starks and Jericho, they have dropped the ball on Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho. Action Andretti and what the impact of him beating Jericho did for him kind of got lost. It's almost non-existent now. The tag team title situation with the Acclaimed, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with this tag team division. And we'll talk about
why is this a quadruple.
I don't know. I don't know how we got there and why that was booked. Samoa Joe and Wardlow, yes, there's some story there, but it took them until 2 weeks ago. Or when was it? Last week, about Joe cutting Wardlow's hair off and what the significance of the hair was to Wardlow. It's like you had 3 months to tell this fucking story. Where the fuck was that? Yeah. You want to tell that 3 weeks before the pay-per-view. And then the women, don't get me started on the women. I was so excited. Jesse was so excited about the women and the potential of where that could be going and what that could be leading to. They've dropped the ball on that. It's nothing more than a fucking wannabe NWO with DX spray paint. Holy shit. What are we doing?
I'm seeing some consistencies in the storylines that we thought were or used to be long-term storytelling. The thing is, the stories never really evolve.
No.
Just because they're engaged in a feud for, so many weeks or whatever it is, nobody gives a shit if nothing's really changing. We're gonna use the Sammy bloodline, as an example, just for this one, but there was layers to it. Sammy was a joke to the bloodline. Sammy was an outsider trying to fit in because he couldn't get things done on his own. Sammy was being used by the bloodline, so it escalated. So they didn't want anything to do with him, but now they're gonna use him. Then turns out Sammy was useful, so they were kind of satisfied and happy with him being around. Then Sammy proved himself even more, and then the downfall came. Different things were happening. The women have been involved in, homegrown versus the outsiders, and the next week, homegrown versus the outsiders. But Ruby doesn't know where she wants to be. Next week, homegrown versus the outsiders. Ruby is going to point to Jamie Hayter. And this is not exciting. Nothing is moving.
And there's
Nothing
no
is
dialogue.
happening.
There's no dialogue. Like,
There's
I don't know.
nothing.
I don't know why Saraya and Tony Storm are labeled the outsiders. I don't know what their problem is with the OGs in the AEW women's. Why do you want to overtake the women's locker room and the women's division to a point where you want to exile the rest of the people that have been there since day one? They have not given me a reason why. This is their desire and their mission statement. Why do you want that? Now, I'm not saying that AEW doesn't have stories. I don't want people to take me out of context. They do have stories, but their stories end at the pay-per-view, and then they start a whole brand new slew of stories, and then they go into the next pay-per-view, rinse and repeat. What Jesse and I are saying is that they need their bloodline and Sami Zayn's story. Now, that could have been MJF and CM Punk. We don't know. That could be MJF and the fucking biggest free agent of 2024 storyline coming up in January next year. Right. I don't know. But what AEW needs to stop doing is booking matches just for the sake of booking matches. And I said this on the podcast on Sunday, and I said it on Friday when I was live with SmackDown. You cannot have a show weekly with banger matches after banger matches after banger matches. At some point, people are going to tune out, and you're not keeping people invested in watching Dynamite. You can only do that so much, and you don't want to blow through that on Dynamite because that is a resource that you don't want to tap into too much. Otherwise, you're not going to have any of those matches, and they're not going to feel special by the time you get to them. They need a major story that transcends the company through many, many, many months like this Sami Zayn and Bloodline story. And yes, we've gotten spoiled as fans watching that play out going into WrestleMania, but AEW doesn't have that, and they need that. I don't know where it went because I haven't felt that way in 3 years with AEW. I'm finally feeling that now. And is that because CM Punk is gone? I don't know. Has AEW had problems? Yes. Has Tony Khan had struggles? Yes. Has things, changed on the fly and Tony Khan had to reroute and fucking, deal with something because of an injury or a suspension and this and that? Yes. There's been major shakeups and there's been major problems. But the fact of the matter is there is no long-term booking. MJF and Bryan Danielson is somewhat long-term booking, and that's the only real solid story going into this pay-per-view in 2 weeks. And outside that, that's it. That's a problem. And I really wish that they get their shit together because I don't want to see this happen going into Double or Nothing. I don't want to see it happen going into All Out. The only show I will take banger matches for fucking 4 straight hours is Forbidden Door. Inject that shit into my fucking soul. I don't give a shit. Give me a Bryan versus Okada. I don't fucking care. They don't have to say one word to each other. Just put the fucking match on. But long-term booking needs to happen, and they don't have that right now.
No, I agree, 100%.
Anyway, I see a lot of people, I seen a comment today that, JD from NY, a midget from NY is the reason why AEW is failing along with Alvarez, Meltzer, Sapp, and all these other podcasters. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Jesse and I have been very critical about AEW when they needed to be shit on and when they need to be, called out on shit. And we've been very, hopeful, and we've praised the show when it also needs to be said as well. Listen, banger matches is not going to work. And I don't know if AEW's audience doesn't want long-term stories. I don't know who wants long-term stories. Yeah, you want to have long-term stories. You need long-term stories. Right now, I don't know how you guys are satisfied with Dynamite. I don't. It's not a bad show. And Jesse and I have said, listen, Dynamite's been the best TV show out of Raw and SmackDown since January. They put on some of their best episodes ever, but that doesn't mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, man, they still need long-term booking. They do. They do.
They do. I mean, I think sometimes they get into the little bit of the bad habit of booking a match that they know that the internet fans want to see, and then, taking the praise for booking said match. They gave us Omega versus Bryan, once on Dynamite. My God, that moment, it felt so fucking good. And it's just something that we all wanted. But at the end of the day, you just put two fantastic wrestlers in a match and just let it go. And then nothing really came of it. Now what? That's what we mean. I mean, it needs to be a lot more. I have an example to put forth, and all of my hip hop fans in the chat will get it. You can have a rapper who is the absolute greatest at battle rap and at freestyles. And, you put him in a battle, he'll murder you. He'll kill you. But You take that same guy and put him in a studio to record an album, and it's not produced the right way, it's not going to manufacture a hit. You just can't go into the studio and just start spitting out lyrics and bars. Songs need to have structure to become hit music, and you need the people around you to do that. What Tony Khan is doing in that similarity is he's putting great wrestlers in the ring and just having them give us great matches, but there's no one around them producing enough story to keep the fans interested in the long term. You know, it's very, very, very fucking similar. I mean, he has the talent. I know he has the talent with the producers in the back. We just got to get it together, man. We just got to get together and do some long-term.
And that's the problem. They're capable of telling stories. How many people? How many people has Tony Khan have employed that you know they're Hall of Famers? They're capable, fully capable of telling stories. And the one thing that bothers me is the House of Black versus Young Bucks thing. You know, I still get people shitting on me. Oh, JD doesn't want to see it. You know, blah, blah, blah. You're getting your match finally, and now you're complaining about it. It's not the fact that I'm complaining about it, because the match is going to be fucking incredible when it happens at the pay-per-view. Does it need to take place at the pay-per-view? No. But like Jesse said, you should have had this shit mapped out for months. The House of Black have done nothing with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. All of a sudden, we're getting this match built in 1 week. Going towards the pay-per-view, happening at the pay-per-view. Where were they when they were wrestling fucking Death Triangle for 7 fucking weeks? You got nothing of the House of Black, no dialogue, no story, and all you want to do is give it to me 2 weeks before the pay-per-view and tell me, oh, it's finally happening. You should be happy with that. No. House of Black have yet to give me a reason why they want to rid AEW of the executive vice presidents. Why? Why? I need to know. I want a story with these 6 guys. I don't want the fucking match to take place just because they're great wrestlers, 6 great wrestlers. And if you do that at the pay-per-view, Jesse, you're really risking blowing up the House of Black completely, and that's not going to be a good look. I don't want that match to take place at the pay-per-view. I wish I could tell Tony Khan, please, TK, don't book the match. Let it build, let it breathe, come up with a dialogue, come up with story, and then slow build it to Double or Nothing. That would make all the difference in the world, and I guarantee you people would be more excited about the match if there was a fucking story going in there for 3 months instead of 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. We get that 6-man tag with Death Triangle 7 times, and where did that get us? The Elite is now moving on the House of Black, and where's Death Triangle? We just saw them in a mass chaos. Fucking
haven't seen Pac since.
We saw the Lucha Bros in this ridiculous ass tag battle royal tonight. They're doing nothing. I mean, how did Death Triangle get built up leaving this 7-match series?
I don't know. I mean, they all 6 guys look like fucking studs coming out of that thing. And, you know, you got the Elite bouncing basketballs because it's the NBA All-Star game last weekend. House of Black shows up. There's no dialogue. And Death Triangle's nowhere to be found. How is that right? Like, I don't understand that. How are you happy about that if you're an AEW, you know, elitist? Honestly.
Yeah. You know, the guys that they're doing something and they're hot, then they go away from TV. Another example, Wardlow. You know, feuding with MJF. Hot. Beat MJF, gone from TV. Cooled the fuck off. Gotta build them back up again. Hot, cooled off. Guys cannot keep heating up and cooling off. If you got a hot hand, you gotta push it. You gotta keep going with it. You cannot just, we'll come back to it. Jurassic Express were hot. They didn't get the push. They got the push later, but they had chilled off at that point. You know, you gotta go with the hot hand while you have it, build around it, build some long-term story behind it to keep it fresh. You guys, AEW does fantastic on their chase and their build-up. Once they get crowned to the point where they are done with said story, it's a dive off of a cliff, man. It's straight downhill.
Look, right in the chat there. They call me Michael V in the chat. Otis, get rid of him. I'm glad you did. He says, you people are being given excellent matches, crying about storyline. Come on, man. Really? Yeah. Everything needs a fucking story. Everything needs a story. I always reference The Walking Dead. How impactful would that Negan scene killing Glenn and Abraham be if Negan just showed up out of nowhere and was given no reason to kill fucking anybody? I mean, the whole build-up to that fucking season 7, episode 1, death of Abraham and Glenn was because of what Rick and the camp did to the Saviors before that fucking scene. If that did not happen, the impact of it wouldn't mean shit. Like, I don't understand you fucking people. You don't want storyline. How don't you want storyline? I don't know, Jesse. You watch a lot of episodic television. If something major happened in one of your favorite shows out of nowhere, you'll be asking the same fucking thing. How did we get here? Why did it happen?
How did this happen? Where did we? And look, no one's crying about anything. This is a podcast where we discuss the show. That's what happens on podcasts, bro.
Yes.
You discuss the show. So you went to a podcast and asked why they were talking about the show. I mean, that doesn't sound very bright on your end. All right.
Nobody's crying about anything. We're talking in a civilized manner with an audience about how to better the show. That's it. And I've said this, and Jesse has said this. This has been a topical discussion for months about AEW. And now it needs to be said because the pay-per-view build has been weak outside of a couple of matches. And I know a lot of people, and I mentioned this on Twitter the other day too, with my clip about the House of Black and the Elite and all this other shit. Tony Khan could benefit from a writing team. He could. He's got all these fucking people back there. I don't know what the inner workings of AEW is. I don't know what the whole plan is to write the show. I don't know what the writing schedule is. I don't know if Tony Khan handles it all himself, if he's got people aiding in that, helping him. But I feel like Tony Khan should have a dedicated writing team. And I mean, not fucking QT Marshall or Jeff Jarrett or Sanjay Dutt or Christopher Daniels or anybody. He needs to go out and hire writers. Like, honestly. That's what I feel like he needs to do. Man,
I'm sorry. I just had like a vision, you realize we just started this show saying, man, AEW needs a 3-hour flagship show and they need some writers. What the fuck are we just saying? What are we saying right now?
I mean,
is this exactly what we did?
All because we're requesting, all because we're thinking AEW could benefit for some writers doesn't mean I want the show to be fucking scripted like Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard would book Monday Night Raw. I mean, don't take it out of context. Exactly. I like the freedom of people going out there, being given bullet points and letting themselves be them. Jericho and Ricky Starks and guys like that going out there and not being scripted. MJF going out there and not being scripted. Of course, we're not asking for that to happen, right? But we're saying let's get stories being written, fleshed out with a beginning, a middle, and an end that takes you from week to week to week to week. That goes beyond a pay-per-view. Like, seriously, where is that? Because I know once upon a time we had it.
So what we give here, guys, is constructive criticism. There's so many things in AEW being done right, which is the reason that we're here covering it. If we didn't give a shit about it at all, if it was just all that bad, we wouldn't be talking about it. We don't sit here and cover Impact. We don't cover NWA Power. So we cover AEW because overall we like the show. So when we break down individual episodes, like, man, we did like this. We would have changed this. Not sure why this is happening, but all in all, we like the show. If we're here talking about it, we like it. That being said, it's not perfect. So if we're talking about things that we would change, it's not because we hate the show or it's going downhill or that it sucks. Just some things we would have done. Me and JD are talking about wrestling right now. You guys are watching. Even you guys in the locker room. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Britt. How you doing?
We're talking about the show. You guys are welcome to join in and listen, but this is what we think about the show. And it's unbiased and it's what am I? I'm unbiased and incredible reporter.
You're a credible journalist.
I'm a credible
or unbiased,
credible
an unbiased journalist.
There you go.
Jesse's a journalist. He's a journalist now.
I'm a journalist, man.
Listen, I am an unbiased content creator. That's what I've built my platform on. I give it to both. I give it to both AEW and WWE, the good and the bad. I mean, you guys, you wouldn't be here if I was, listen, one of the major problems in the community is the people that do this thing that are alive right now, they don't really sit there and objectively cut apart Dynamite. Everything's so great, They don't give it to you like that. like us.
Yeah.
It needs to be said. I guarantee you, outside Solid Monster, you're not going to hear any of this discussion on Fightful or with Denise or Sap or anybody else, Steven Larson. You're not going to hear this shit over there.
No.
Nobody wants to objectively criticize Dynamite because they're afraid of ruffling feathers in the locker room and they're afraid of cutting their ties for interviews and getting their access revoked for the media scrums. So that's why they don't do anything and they don't say anything so bad about the company. Everything is like, oh, yeah, it'll get better. Yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes. No, I need to know what's wrong and how you would fix it. That's what I want to listen to. I don't know what the fuck you guys are listening to.
Yeah. If you don't like it, just say you don't like it. I mean, some people say it more politely than others, but after so long, there's so many very, very obvious mistakes, it does get frustrating. So the reactions could come off as, these guys are assholes.
Oh, JD turned his back on AEW. I knew he would.
You're a shill.
Triple H is in charge.
You're a shill, bruh.
Listen, man, some of you don't know. Me and H goes back 10 years, man. Yeah, listen, Jesse and I have been watching NXT. Doesn't matter what Triple H does, man. We're a fan of Triple H and the way he operates. He was in charge of the best fucking show in the industry with Black and Gold. So if me and Jesse have a little favoritism towards Triple H, it's warranted. We want that for Tony Khan. We're big fans of Tony Khan and what Tony Khan is doing. And I've said that to Tony in person, too, at the scrums. So, you know, it's not the fact that I'm against AEW. I want the fucking company to thrive and do better. And if they have some mistakes, I want to talk about them. Simple. It's not rocket science, folks. It's not.
Not that hard. Triple H is not without fault, man. Not quite
no,
sure.
He's not perfect either.
Some things
and believe me,
listen,
WWE
right now.
Listen, I've cut down Triple H and some of the fucking shit that he's done. Jesse, you know, he tells me weekly, fucking shit row. I mean, get rid of him. Triple H made a fucking fail. That's a bomb right there.
That was, oh my God. What is going on with this Omos Lesnar shit?
I don't know. Some people, who was it? Inside the Ropes or something like that. Meltzer said that is the match at WrestleMania. And then we get this report that Vince McMahon, somehow somebody told Sapp, somebody that works there told Sapp that they feel Vince McMahon is in charge. Somebody ran with it. And I'm like, no shit. Because I know for a fucking fact, I don't need sources. Triple H would never book Brock Lesnar versus Omos at WrestleMania. Never. Never. Give me a fucking break. If you think if you think Triple H and Omos, or Triple H would book Omos and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, you are a complete zero brain cell fucking hack. Honestly. That is a Vince McMahon move if I ever seen a Vince McMahon move. And I'm going to tell you this right now because I'm going to go about this live tomorrow. Vince, I don't think, is running the show completely. I will say this, and Jesse can attest to this. You will know if Vince McMahon's running the show. 2 to 3 minute matches, 24/7 title, dick jokes, and fucking comedy like we used to see. When you start seeing that shit on the show, then you know Vince is in charge. Triple H doesn't do any of that shit. Give me a break.
I thought Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania opponent was going to be kept completely close to the chest because it was so special. And it was Omos?
Yeah.
That was...
Yeah, what? That was it. Yeah.
Whatever.
Son-in-law, I see you want to book Brock versus Bray Wyatt. Let's do Omos because it's a giant versus a beast.
What if Triple H just gave Vince...
Exactly what happened. I guarantee that was the discussion, too.
Yeah, what if Triple H gave Vince Brock, or just gave, hey, you book your guy, you book this guy, we'll put him somewhere. Who do you want? Omos. All right, you got it, dude. Now can you fucking go away?
No, I said this was a probable troll job. You know, maybe we get Lesnar versus Lashley again with fucking Hurt Business getting back together. But apparently it's the match. Meltzer says it's the match. That's the plan. I'm like, good luck with that. For the first time in our lifetime, Brock Lesnar's match is going to be a bathroom break match at WrestleMania. Go figure.
Can we put it in the night one pre-show?
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Seriously. Anyway, that's what we got as far as AEW is concerned, guys. If you don't like it, you know, I'm going to need the AEW fan base to really open up. We're not against AEW. We just love giving constructive criticism. Sometimes my delivery is not all that pleasing to people, but it all comes from a good place. I love the company. And I want to see it thrive. A lot of people want to see it die for whatever reason. I don't know why. Then you're asking for thousands of people to be out of a job. I don't know why you would want that. Hundreds of people out of a job. I don't know why you want that. So,
absolutely. I think that's a point to always make clear.
Yes.
Whenever you're debating wrestling shows with anyone, I want AEW to succeed. I want WWE to continue to succeed.
Yes.
I want both these companies to. I'm not here to say I hope WWE fails or I hope AEW fails. I want this to fail. I want them all to succeed. NWA, Impact, ROH. I want them all to. The more wrestling we get, the better. The more entertaining wrestling we get, even fucking better.
You know, listen, I make fun of Impact all the time. I don't want to see them go out of business.
No.
I don't want to see NWA go out of business. I don't want to see AEW. Why would I want to see AEW go out of business? It's one of my biggest fucking streams of the week. You know, I'm grateful for Tony Khan. I would thank Tony Khan 1,000 times over in person. Thank you. You've given us something to be excited about, and you've given me fucking a reason to keep food on my fucking table, you know? Why would you want that?
I want to see more success. I would love to see a cable network that only broadcasts wrestling and like all wrestling, not fucking one fucking company. The same way you turn your TV on and watch fucking Seinfeld and fucking Third Rock from the fucking whatever, you should be able to go to the ESPN wrestling network and catch up on all of the fucking wrestling shit that happens around the fucking indie. I would fucking love it. Man. All wrestling, all the fucking time. I would love it.
Third Rock from the Sun is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Great. You know?
Love John Lithgow. Love him.
I didn't get into it, to be honest.
No? I thought it was hilarious.
I didn't get into that one. But John Lithgow is fucking hilarious.
Yes. So that's that, guys. Make of it what you want. We're going to get into the actual Dynamite show. We're not going to break this thing down like we usually do because, you know, it was a show that I feel like Tony Khan put into a randomizer and then he spat out another random Dynamite tonight. But like I said, this was a much better show than last week. We got the show actually being better than it was on paper because on paper it was looking a little grim, but it was a good show. And the open of the show saw Orange Cassidy defend the All-Atlantic Championship. He doesn't have a pay-per-view match, by the way, against Wheeler Yuta, who is the ROH Pure Champion. I know Orange Cassidy. He gets a lot of flack in the community. I know a lot of people don't like Orange Cassidy. He's stale. He's an indie worker. He's this and that. You can't take anything away from Orange Cassidy. When you ask him to work, he's going to go out there and work. He's put on several bangers in his AEW stint. And, you know, the guy deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Great wrestler. Wheeler Yuta, great wrestler. This was a pay-per-view quality open, Jesse. I don't really care for the little story that they have with them being, you know, I guess, best friends. But this match was made last week on Dynamite for this week just to give these guys something to do. No real story here that we should really be investing in. But, I mean, my God, man, you talk about those banger matches that Dynamite puts on. This was that.
So this is great. A match like this, you take it, you give us an opener like this. They went like 20 minutes, you know, just, you know, boom. I mean, they just fucking hit us with it. Fucking fantastic wrestling. Great. Next segment, let's look at a fucking feud with some story behind it. You know, let's do some story. Do a lot of story. Back to the wrestling. You need a little bit of both. And this was the perfect opener. If you want to start a show with wrestling, boom, give us that. And this is how you start a show where you want to grasp anyone's attention of, oh, there's not enough wrestling. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Orange Cassidy, I get why people don't like him. I get it. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an Orange Cassidy stan either. So I get it. I'm not going to defend him.
Neither one of us are.
Yeah, you know, so I get it. It's not your prototypical wrestler, especially I have a lot of friends, personal friends, that don't like the current day and age of wrestling because they're used to their 80s muscle-bound dudes. So they don't like any of the small guys. But seeing Orange Cassidy does not help my argument when I'm trying to get them back into wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a little too comedic for their liking.
Yeah.
Or your liking.
It is.
But Orange Cassidy, great wrestler. This was a great match. All-Atlantic title. I mean, we could sit here and complain about the All-Atlantic title and how little it does mean to the actual TV show and what they could be doing with that championship. There should be a story around that championship with somebody of a background that hasn't challenged for that title yet. But as far as this and the story that could potentially come out of this, I don't really see much of a story with Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. To me, Jesse, what I saw as far as story coming out of this match was Claudio's intent on this match. Him slapping Yuta around and him almost being an enforcer-like out there, more like a leader, a big brother to Wheeler Yuta. And it was very telling that Wheeler Yuta was in the ring and Orange Cassidy wanted a hug at the end of the match, and he looked over at Claudio, and Claudio gave him a thumbs down or whatever he did, and he walked out of the ring. They need to continue building on that. Like, what is Claudio's, what is Claudio doing there? What's the power that Claudio has over Wheeler Yuta, and what's the direction there? Like, why is Yuta, I guess he's in the Blackpool Combat Club, and they have this kind of this kinship, but, I mean, Wheeler Yuta, he has a history somewhat with Orange Cassidy, and he didn't do it after a great match. And that's not really, the honor code for Wheeler Yuta here.
Right. I think that's the fantastic nucleus of a pretty good story to start telling.
Yeah.
Regal left. He was the clear leader and organizer of the Blackpool Combat Club. And they just been kind of floating. We've been sitting badebating, not knowing if Brian was still even part of it. Wheeler said he has 3 fucking friends in the Blackpool Combat Club. Great. Now back to my question of where were you when Brian needed you in the ring, but whatever, but yes, this is something to tell. If Claudio wants to establish himself as the leader of the Blackpool Combat Club, and they appear to be going more towards a heel direction, I love this. I want to see Claudio establish his dominance in the Blackpool Combat Club, similar to, not crazy, but similar to the story that they gave us with Roman, making sure that his name was put at the top of the bloodline and establishing his dominance of that group right away. Now, he can do that with Yuta. Not quite sure how that would go over with Moxley.
Yeah.
But it'd be an interesting story to tell. So I wouldn't mind seeing where they're going with this.
Yes, I'm very intrigued by that as well, and that's something that really should be focused on in the weeks to come. I'd love to see something like that. Excuse me. Also, a new dimension to Claudio, because we all know him as the in-ring general, and he's always out there putting on great matches, pound for pound, the strongest guy in the company. But I'd love to see that new dynamic for him as well. He's not been in something like that in many, many, many years. So. I welcome that, and if it's a doorway to some story here, and getting the Blackpool Combat Club somehow involved in the Trios Championship scene sometime this summer, I'm also open for that as well, because we've been asking for that as well for many, many, many months.
But it makes it, as I say that out loud now, it would make it even more interesting, since Claudio is the ROH champion.
Yeah.
So now, if he's going to establish BCC as being like the top crew in AEW and be the top guy in ROH, we could be looking at again, before the idiots start typing away and getting diarrhea of the fucking fingers. I'm not saying Claudio is like Roman Reigns. What I'm saying is you can have Claudio as the head of ROH and the leader of a dominant faction in AEW. That's the makings of a new star, man. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see it. We'll see what happens there. But Wheeler Yuta here fell to Orange Cassidy. Cassidy retained the championship. Some anvil elbows from Yuta. He tried a seatbelt pin. Cassidy got his own anvil elbows and reversed Yuta. They wrapped each other up in some seatbelt pin attempts. Cassidy popped up with an orange punch. Yuta kicked out. Cassidy hit the beach break, but Yuta kicked out again. The ending of this match was fantastic with several near falls. Cassidy hit one final orange punch to get the victory, and what I thought was a great opener to AEW Dynamite. I was very skeptical about this match coming in. I'm like, why? I asked, why are you booking this? But listen, I can't take anything away from both of these guys. Very good wrestlers. And at the end of the match, Cassidy wanted a hug, but Castagnoli came out again and told Yuta not to, and he brushed past Orange Cassidy. So that is the story coming out of this, and the opening match here with Orange Cassidy retaining the championship. Renee Paquette was backstage with Adam Hangman Page and Evil Uno. And Evil Uno was going to be in the main event tonight against Jon Moxley. So Uno, he was there with Paige, and Uno asked Hangman not to get involved no matter what happens in the match. He says, it's time for Dark Order to stand up for themselves, and I know why you're asking me, why you're getting involved. And Evil Uno told Adam Page, Jesse, that when Adam Page says, why are you getting involved, he feels like that is interpreted as the Dark Order are basically irrelevant and they're not important. So Evil Uno wanted to change that, and I don't know if that's going to lead to more of a priority on television for the Dark Order, but I guess it's a nice little side story with Adam Page and his alignment with the Dark Order. I don't really think they're going to play into too much of that, but, it's a nice little story to tell on the road to Moxley and Adam Page at the pay-per-view.
No, sorry. No, I agree. I've been one to go to bat for the Dark Order here because I'm just low key, just a Dark Order fucking stan. I mean, I just one of the first things I remember about AEW's inception is the Young Bucks, the Elite, Cody, everybody else, and the Dark Order.
Yeah,
they were there from day one. So I've grown an attachment to them. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know they're not in the spot that I would, be happy with them in. They got some growing to do. They took a huge step back with Brody, but they're still here. Dark Order, and I'm sure this is the same for a lot of other people. Dark Order has a soft spot in my heart as it pertains to AEW, just because of how lovable those guys are. To see them do something serious, I'm with it. I'm with it. I think they're talented in their own way. They're obviously in the mid-card tier of talent, but I don't see anything wrong with them. And they're genuine, they're funny, and they're good wrestlers. So I would like to see them pushed in a reasonable way.
All right, listen, man, we got a trios division, bro. They should be, right in the middle of the pack. Evil Uno is a great wrestler. Yes. I miss him and Grayson. I thought they were fucking criminally underrated. Very fortunate that I actually called the match for them in House of Glory. Excellent guys. Johnny Silver is great. Hungy is excellent. And I don't know why he's not on, a little bit more of a priority list as far as them being a trio as well. And Alex Reynolds, I mean, he can hold his own. I mean, they make a formidable trio. I don't know why they're not. I don't know why they're not involved. I don't.
They do in a division that needs legit trios teams.
Yes. So
I agree. Use them.
Ricky Starks. He came out, promo segment here with Ricky Starks. He was a big time over in Fénix. Fénix was a very, very hot crowd tonight, so shout out to Fénix. Excellent time in Fénix. Looked like they had first time in Fénix, first time in Arizona for AEW. Always love to see first-time fans on the show. But he is in the ring, and he says he's dealt with interference from JAS for months. And he said it's clear that Chris Jericho doesn't want to have a rematch against him. So he accepts that the rematch won't happen. So he's actually going to move on from Chris Jericho. So he took out an open contract out of his jacket for a match against Revolution. Anybody in the back, they could step up to the plate and wrestle Ricky Starks at the pay-per-view. I'm like, okay, I could get behind that. I am actually kind of over the whole Starks and Jericho thing, but long before anything, Chris Jericho comes out and Judas plays, and like a prick, he just lets the chorus play, and he's wasting everybody's time. Starks is out there shaking his head, and he's very confused about what's going on here. Jericho's on the microphone. He says he knows Starks is trying to goad him into a rematch. He says he knows Starks' win over him is a career highlight for Ricky Starks. He says he can beat him anytime, any place, anywhere. And he said it'll never happen because you are not at my level. So he wished him well with his open challenge and says he hopes it goes well for him at the pay-per-view. So out comes pretty Peter Avalon, and he wanted the open challenge. Jericho sees this on the stage, takes Avalon by the arm, gives him the Judas effect, and knocks him out cold on the stage, and then he marched to the ring to go meet Ricky Starks face-to-face. He told Starks if he wants Jericho so bad, he can have the he can't have the pay-per-view happen without him. There can't be a Revolution without Chris Jericho. He said maybe he should accept that open contract offer and embarrass him at the pay-per-view. Stark says, well, maybe you should sign it, but he should get the job done by himself without his cohorts helping, without the JAS. Jericho asked Starks if he thinks he can't beat him one-on-one. Starks then said, no, I believe you could beat me at the pay-per-view one-on-one. So Jericho took the contract. Fans started chanting, sign it, sign it. Jericho says, you know what, Ricky, you're right. I can beat you one-on-one because I am the great Chris Jericho. I'll even add something to the contract that the JAS won't get involved. Except, I can't sign this right now because I don't have a pen. So Ricky Starks takes a pen out of his jacket. I got a pen. Jericho kind of looked at him and snatched the pen away from him. He picks the pen up and he does the whole list of Jericho fucking pen click, and I marked out over because I love that era of Chris Jericho. I thought that was fantastic. So Jericho says that he should be careful what he wishes for because nobody outsmarts him. Starks did outsmart him, smiled, and Jericho left the ring. I thought this was a fun segment. I enjoyed this. I thought this was wildly entertaining, excellent television. And I do, Jesse, at the end of this, hope that this Ricky Starks Chris Jericho thing is over at the pay-per-view because I honestly do think Tony Khan and Creative have dropped the ball on this, and it doesn't feel as hot as it should have been going into the pay-per-view.
Yes, I'm still looking for that momentum that Ricky Starks had coming out of that MJF match. It seemed to have,
it was there in that Jericho match on Dynamite. I don't know when it was, the first or the second Dynamite of the year. It was there, bro. And then all of a sudden it just went away. I don't know if they're going to be able to rekindle that at the pay-per-view, but Starks does seem, I don't want to say he's cold, but he's at a very low to medium heat on the burner. He's not hot.
I'll say this as far as trying to get someone like a Wardlow when he was hot and a Ricky Starks while he is hot. I will say this. What we're proposing and what we're asking to be done, it's not easy. It is not easy creatively to keep the momentum of a Ricky Starks going on for weeks and weeks and weeks while elevating it and keeping everyone interested. I'm not even trying to claim that it is. I know it's not easy. Usually that's the kind of things that comes together when you bounce ideas off of people and you just brainstorm shit. What if we did this? That might work, but it might backfire if we did that. True. What if we did that? Good idea. And let's do it this way. And then the good idea comes out. Like you said, I don't know what the creative process is all about in AEW, but somewhere along the line, someone should be bouncing ideas like, hey, we got to keep Ricky Starks hot, and what we're doing with Jericho right now is not keeping him hot or making him hotter. It's just not. So let's do something else, And that can be said for a lot of the storylines that we're not finding just any gains in. Just like brainstorm it with people, with the talent, with another writer, with a veteran, and see what they bounce back to you because we want to see more compelling storytelling. That's really about it. If we get that along with the in-ring work we're getting from these guys, we got a damn near perfect company going on, man.
I know. Well, I didn't know where this was going when we first got this. Jericho was kind of, with the whole loss to Andretti, I thought Jericho was going to kind of dive into a storyline where he was going to lose his mind and he was going to go on some losing streak and then kind of, go mental over the fact that, he needs to beat Ricky Starks. He needs to beat Ricky Starks. And Jericho was going to be the one asking Ricky Starks for the match at the pay-per-view because Ricky Starks would have gotten that victory over Jericho at Dynamite a few weeks back. But that didn't go anywhere, and that's not the direction that they went. Actually, Andretti seemingly has fallen off the face of the earth. We haven't seen him. Ricky Starks and Jericho, their storyline was very similar to what we've seen before with Chris Jericho storylines where and AEW's got something going on very similar with Bryan and MJF where Bryan had to run MJF's gauntlet and beat all these fucking opponents, 5 straight weeks to get the match at the pay-per-view. Very similar in storyline that Ricky Starks had to run a gambit of matches and go through the whole JAS before he gets to Chris Jericho. Now, you could look at the storyline and say, well, what the fuck does Ricky Starks want a match with Chris Jericho for? He beat Chris Jericho at Dynamite a few weeks back. Well, what more does he have to prove? That's the part I'm stuck on. That's not really a story. There's a huge logic gap there. You beat Chris Jericho already in a match, the biggest win of your career, on Dynamite. What the fuck do you need to do it again for? You already proved yourself to him. What is he goading him into a match for? Jesse's shaking his head. He don't got no answers. There is no answer.
I don't know. It's a good point. I don't know. I would be ready to move on from him as well. I don't know.
He wants this match because Jake Hager put him through a fucking table at the end of the match? All these weeks, you're still worried about that? Like, what's the story?
Yeah.
Like what I told you about Jericho diving into a fucking sea of depression because he can't win a fucking match and him begging Starks for the match to try and get it done. That would have been a better story than what we're getting now. I mean, it should have all started with him losing to Andretti. Who the fuck loses to Action Andretti out of nowhere? Jericho did.
Yeah. Remember when the company started and they had the ranking system?
No more.
And then we were like, well, you know, cool, because now at least we won't get just mindless rematches for no reason. Just constant rematches. What do we have now in AEW? We get a lot of rematches now.
They were doing the rankings wrong anyway, bro. I mean,
they were.
Dark matches were being added to the rankings. Like nobody watches Dark. The fuck you adding those matches on the rankings for? Well, they have Sky Blue win 8 matches on Dark, and then women's championship match, Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue. Like, what the fuck? I didn't see Sky Blue win any matches on Dynamite.
Yeah, dude. If you're 25 and 2 and 25 matches on Dark and 2 losses on TV, you have no momentum. Nobody cares about your 25 wins.
No.
You have nothing.
They did it all wrong. I wish that they would bring the rankings back and actually give a shit about it and make it on Dynamite only. Like the matches right now, that's one of the problems that we talked about. There's a lot of matches, and no matter how good they are, at the end of the day, what do they mean? They don't mean anything. They're just banger matches. I'm not saying every match on WWE TV means something, but there's something going on there for the majority of the show as to why the match happens or what happened last week. Now they're doing something this week. I mean, you just get random shit happening every week, and there's no rhyme or reason for it.
Yeah, you know, from time to time, I will go back and watch old school Monday Night Raws in the Vince Russo era, because I listen to some old podcasts where they go back and review old shows, but whatever. But something that Russo would say, and like I swear this is the only thing I'll ever say that I like that came from Russo, but everyone on the card had a storyline. And from top to bottom, from the top of the card to the bottom of the card, if you were on TV, you were involved in your own long-term storyline, and the crowds were invested. Remember when the oddities would come out and the crowd is just fucking rock because they're into the oddities, they're into Gangrel. These guys were never main eventers, but they would rock the crowd when they would pop when these guys came out because they always had storylines. So and that's a really, really great concept to have. If you're on TV, you should have a long-term story being told. No one should be on TV just doing a random match. No one.
I'm not saying everything has to be a long-term story. I'm not saying everything has to be a Bloodline Sami Zayn story, but there's got to be something, you know, regarding you or revolving around you that actually, you know, makes the show worth watching. Like I want, what are you doing here? Like, why are you on the show? And is your inclusion in the show going to lead to something? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. And Tony Khan said that, you know, sometimes our stories happen out of a match like Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy. Maybe we get some, you know, storytelling out of that, and it ends up being a couple of months. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't end up. And most of the time it's that way. Sometimes it doesn't end up being anything. It's just there. Like, why are you on the show?
Yeah. No,
like, why did Sky Blue wrestle Saraya tonight? Why? Did that match make any sense?
They needed a body.
She didn't even get an entrance. She wasn't, you know, deemed as anybody important.
I didn't even realize she was in the match until I saw her take her first bump, to be honest.
I mean, we go to commercial break and Saraya's coming out with her theme music, and then Sky Blue's already in the ring.
Yeah.
Why are you there? Like, why is this match happening? The Acclaimed, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens with Billy Gunn versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. Why did this match happen? Like, what do these men have to do with each other? Why is Lee Moriarty and Big Bill in a match with the Acclaimed? Now, I think Big Bill is great. I think Morrissey's great. Morrissey is a fucking stud for AEW if they want to change the fucking ridiculous name and make him into a fucking, you know, giant, a monster of a man. But this guy's got it, bro. I don't care what anybody says. Big Bill has it. If they want to do something serious with him, he is very good.
I was just going to say that. Watching him tonight, he's great, man.
That's why I said it. I mean, he was great tonight.
He's so good. He's so good. Not only that, if you're not familiar with the story of William Morrissey, you know, look it up. but I'm so happy. I don't like saying these things only when the chips are down, so I like saying them when the chips are going just fine. Morrissey turned his life around.
Yes.
He turned everything about his life around, and he looks fantastic, and he's doing great work right now. So for that, I want to give a little nod to William Morrissey.
Yeah.
Man. Good for him.
Knowing where he came from and seeing what came out about him at one of the indie shows he wrestled in a couple of years back, and he got engaged this year about a month and a half ago to Lexi Nair. I mean, he's on top of the world right now, and he looked fucking great tonight. That's the type of guy. They don't have enough guys like that in AEW. They got Lance Archer fell off the face of the earth. Hobbs, yeah. I don't know where the fuck Will Hobbs is. They were pushing it. The book of Hobbs apparently was fucking not published by AEW.
It's published on Dark every week, man.
Is it? I mean, that's ridiculous. Yep. That is absolutely ridiculous. You got Miedo. Miedo is fucking completely falling off the face of the earth. You got Wardlow. You got guys like Joe. Man. Who?
He's not even in the country.
Where is he?
He's in Bulgaria.
Is he?
I'm looking at CJ Perry's tweets. Yeah, he's in Bulgaria. He's not even in the States.
Fuck it. Why not?
So at first I wondered, well, maybe he's having visa issues because, a lot of people having visa issues.
Yeah.
But he's married to CJ Perry, who's an American.
I don't know. Tony Khan may be waiting for his contract to end, bro, sitting him out. I don't know. But he just signed the contract. Man. You're going to sit him out for 3 fucking years?
She keeps saying that he's in Bulgaria. Maybe she's full of shit. I don't know.
But Big Bill needs to be on television with a new name. Make him into a fucking stud, a giant. Moriarty, I didn't really care about. I mean, Moriarty just gives me major indie vibes on a major show that I just feel like he doesn't belong on. He's got no character. Like, who the fuck is he? Like, I don't care about Lee Moriarty. There's no reason for me to care. This match, no reason for us to care. The Acclaim win in 7 minutes. The arrival by Bowens. Caster comes in with the mic drop, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. One problem I have with the pay-per-view is that the Acclaimed are not getting a rematch against the Gun Club. Like, why are we not getting a rematch 2-on-2 against the Gun Club? Why are we convoluting this thing in a fucking tag team 4-way? Why?
They invoke their rematch clause.
And they invoke their rematch clause. They invoked their rematch clause with 2 other fucking teams, making it lessening their odds to 25% chance of winning the match instead of 50.
66 and a third chance. And it's tight.
I don't get it.
Nobody. Yeah, that's not a rematch. That's a different match. It's not a rematch.
What happened to the tag team division? Remember when AEW's tag team division was fucking absolute diamond level, bro? S tier, S+. What happened?
Remember when the Bucks promised us that they were gonna focus on tag team wrestling?
I mean, just based off that discussion, I wonder how much pull the Young Bucks had pulled back. How much of their power was really fucking just taken away from them? Because this tag team division is nowhere where it was before. With them leading the charge. Nowhere.
No. We know the Bucks are 5-star in ring work, but to be honest, we never really knew with certainty how great their writing is, their storytelling is. We don't know that for sure. I mean, so we just assume it's great because they're like us. They're fucking marks. They love wrestling. But we don't know. All we know is that TK is in charge and the tag division has slipped.
Yes. TK needs a writing team, a dedicated writing team. Sometimes he probably forgets what the fuck he has at his disposal. He's booking these shows weekly. This is not something I care for on my show. Moriarty and Big Bill, it felt like a fucking dark match.
Yeah. And it sucks because Moriarty is good, man. I've seen enough of this guy.
Good.
He is good, but he is boring.
He is very boring.
There's nothing for me to. If I'm a casual fan watching him, there's nothing for me to care about.
No.
Me being a wrestling fan, I love him. I care about him, but even me, I need to be enthralled in something that he's doing on TV to care about watching the match of his. Help me out, man.
What happened to the Big Bill Hook storyline? Is that all gone now?
No, that's gone.
I don't know.
Hook is back from suspension. No, it's good to hear.
Oh, that's good. Well, was he suspended for a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, he beat the shit out of.
They took his Doritos away from him.
They changed his chips. So you can't beat.
They gave him Utz instead of Lay's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer Utz, but
He's gonna kick his ass again. What the fuck, man?
I don't know. Acclaim win in 7 minutes. Match was fine. I mean, Big Bill was the star here. Nothing really to care about at the end of it. Christian Cage. This is somebody I legit care about. Christian is fucking great. He is such a prick, bro. He is so evil, and I love it. He is so good. Christian came out. Jungle Boy charged. I mean,
before you get it, this is what I like. We're getting a new wrestler, and he's gonna be huge. All right, who is it? Christian Cage. That's bullshit. Who cares? You know. And then here we are. What is it, a year later? Christian Cage. Love this guy.
I mean,
love it. Love everything he's done. All of it.
Ever since the pairing with Jurassic Express, right, and then them building the turn. I mean, it's been just fucking excellent television.
Yep.
He's so good. I mean, WWE has Edge. We got Christian, and you know, obviously Christian's been hurt. Edge, he takes as much time off from their television show as he needs, but he kills it every time he's out there. Christian's killing it. They're both in their 50s. I mean, or nearing 50. I mean, and they are legitimately, bro. If you want to talk about who is producing some of the best television on both shows, Edge and Christian are doing that for both AEW and WWE at their age. It is tremendous.
I love that. And I love it. I love it more for AEW side, if I'm being honest, because they're leaning on Christian a lot less than WWE is leaning on Edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to really call it leaning on Edge, because I think they're using him to the best of his abilities, because he's a fucking star.
Yep.
You know, but Christian is, I think Christian is performing way above his pay grade right now.
Absolutely.
So
Jungle Boy came out. Christian was supposed to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Jungle Boy came out and speared him on the stage. Jack Perry then kicked dirt, or did the whole fucking wiping the heels behind himself and doing the whole symbolic kicking dirt on Christian, and walked off the stage. He then returned seconds later with 2 chairs. He was going to do a concerto to Christian, but Christian is very wily and a prick, so he got out of this and low-blowed Jungle Boy, then bashed him with the chair. Christian then rammed Jungle Boy's head into the chair several times, busting him open. Christian lifted Jack Perry's head off the chair and was kind of talking shit to him. Referees came out to order Christian to turn back and walk to the locker room, and that was basically it. Very, very good, solid, very simple build towards their pay-per-view match on Revolution, and I'm looking forward to it. There's one match I'm looking forward to most. It's MJF and Bryan Danielson. If there was another one, bro, it is this match between Jungle Boy and Christian. It should be a banger, and I'm loving the story. Now, the story kind of took a hit because Jungle Boy had to fucking deviate and do God knows what in the time that Christian was hurt. But I'm glad we're tying up loose ends. Tony Khan is doing right by tying this up at the pay-per-view and then moving both guys onto something completely fresh after the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I was looking. I thought Luchasaurus was gonna come out when
Me too.
Jungle Boy was standing there. He has not. He is a part of this equation. So
Yes.
if he didn't come out here, I expect him to come out for their match.
Yeah, I don't know why he's out. Somebody said that, or I think we talked about it last week. There's a copyright issue with the mask.
Yeah. That would suck, but I mean, worst case scenario, you just gotta change his fucking mask. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, TK, opens the pockets and just fucking pays for it. Who knows? We'll see. But if that's the only hiccup, just change his fucking mask, because we need this guy back on TV by the time that these two get in the ring.
Samoa Joe and Wardlow, there was another video that kind of highlighted what Wardlow had said last week about the hair and the symbolism of his hair being cut. And Samoa Joe said he scalped him to send a message that he isn't a man to be messed with. He said at Revolution he will show Wardlow that his biggest mistake was ever stepping into the ring with him again. They're just biding time. There wasn't really any new information here. Wardlow more than likely is going to win the TNT title. It's what happens after Revolution with the TNT title. Are we going to get a solid storyline? Is there going to be a full-fledged heel that's going to chase babyface Wardlow for the championship? Or are we just going to get random fucking matches thrown together with the TNT title? That's what I'm looking forward to see what Tony Khan does. Because right now, outside of the hair situation, Jesse, there's no heat coming out of this angle at all, even though it should be a damn good match between these two. You know, they took too long to tell the story. I'm glad that they did, but I mean, something like that, man, so simple, should have been done weeks ago. And we got it 3 weeks before the fucking pay-per-view. And now they're not going to do anything else or add anything on top of that. And they're just going to lean on that.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
I don't like the idea and the thought of Joe dropping that title to fucking Wardlow.
Me neither.
Because he just fucking got it.
I don't know why. I don't know why Joe even lost the fucking title to Darby.
Really?
Still,
there's the fact that there are too many titles is making it. It's got to be making it harder just to book mid-level matches and cards and shit. I mean, how do you? Jesus Christ, which one is more important? The TNT title or the All Atlantic Championship?
I don't know. I can't tell.
I still don't even know why that All Atlantic Championship exists. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, WWE's
I have no idea why it's even here.
WWE's done more with the U.S. Championship than both the All Atlantic and the TNT title combined. And even that's not even a captivating story. I mean, I still don't know what the fucking story is there, but at least it's some sort of story where it plays out on TV every fucking week. I mean, what are we getting with the TNT title? Sometimes the title doesn't appear on TV for 3 weeks.
Joe's ROH TV title gets more attention, man. I don't know.
We need a solid story. We need a solid story for that. A solid story for the All-Atlantic title. Should not be that difficult to book these titles in meaningful stories. If the titles are in meaningful stories, it's going to make the titles feel that much more important. I mean, it's just a very simple concept.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, imagine the Intercontinental Championship in nothing, bro. I mean, if Gunther was having banger matches, yeah, it would be great. But, I mean, just imagine what they're doing now with the IC title and leading that to WrestleMania and having Sheamus win that fucking title. I mean, it's hard to not fucking care.
It's not that hard to imagine them not doing anything with the IC title. They were just doing nothing with it a year ago.
I know. Well, I mean, no, but I mean, people think that Triple H hasn't changed anything about the show. So, I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, that's what I'd like to see coming out of the TNT title, but we'll see. Should be a good match anyway at the pay-per-view. Hopefully they do something different going into Double or Nothing. Saraya, she was in the ring tonight. I think this was her first Dynamite match since being back against Sky Blue. This was not good. This was not good at all. Very slow.
With her, man.
Say again?
Yeah, she brought her cakes with her, though.
Who?
Saraya did.
Oh, well, I mean, she's a beautiful woman.
A Tony Brown special, man.
So was Sky Blue.
Oh, man.
But that doesn't mean it was a good wrestling match. I thought it was very botchy, very sloppy. I don't know why they opted to put Saraya in there for the first time on Dynamite with somebody who is obviously still very green herself. Didn't even get an entrance, Sky Blue. I mean,
Dude,
it's a dark special for sure.
They use Sky Blue in so many spots. They use her so much. If she's not good enough to run in this spot with Saraya, it feels like it's a step back with her.
Yeah.
She should be prepared for a spot like this by now.
Well, what does that say about Saraya? Is she really ready to be back in the ring at full capacity? Probably not.
Maybe not.
She should be leading that match with Sky Blue.
Sky Blue has looked fine in the matches I've seen her in prior to this.
Well, this was not good at all. So. I mean, Saraya applied a submission hold, and it looked like I don't know what the fuck it was. It looked like some sort of inverted backbreaker, sharpshooter-like move. Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker ran out to stop Saraya and Toni Storm from spraying blue with spray paint after the match. Storm and Saraya tried to run up the ramp to escape, but then Ruby Soho's music played, and she was pointing at the title, Jesse, signaling to Jamie Hayter and making the title motion around her waist. It looks like we're getting a Ruby Soho chasing the title going into Revolution at the pay-per-view. Then it was announced that Jamie Hayter challenged both Ruby and Saraya to a triple threat match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know how that came about.
I mean, I was not interested in Jamie Hayter and Ruby Soho to begin with. I'm like, well, there's my bathroom break for the fucking night, and I love Jamie Hayter. But then they added Saraya, and I don't know how they're going to weave this into the storyline, but I'm still not interested, bro, because like we said before, there has been no dialogue on why Saraya and Toni Storm are acting the way that they are, and they're just coming off as just cringy, and it's not interesting, and the NWO undertones with the spray paint, the outsiders. Like, why are you in the locker room wanting to overtake the OGs and the AEW women's locker room? What is your mission statement? What are you out to accomplish? All I need is an explanation. There needs to be some dialogue here to advance the story. And Jesse, we haven't gotten any dialogue.
No, if it feels like to me, it feels like that they know where the story is going, and it just found a way to try to get us there, jump to that part, and trying to go forward to the end. Didn't explain how we're getting to that part or anything. So anything going forward doesn't make any sense because we have no idea where this hatred came from the originals and the new women in there. Like it just came out of nowhere. Ruby Soho is somehow conflicted on where she stands. She just got here. She's not a part of the. It makes no sense. And if it makes no sense, it's hard to get into. It's hard to get into. No one gives a shit about it.
Oh, let's go back and see what's the reason. Jamie Hayter beat Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. That's not enough to tell a story. No. Saraya out there saying this is my house. I mean, you got to tell me more than this is your house. Why are you in the? Why is this your house? Did Britt Baker miss a payment of rent? I mean, I don't. Are you evicting Britt Baker for what reason? Like, I don't understand. Did Britt miss her water bill? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this goes. And I mean, the looming Mercedes Moné appearance is constantly hanging back there when you look at this storyline as well. It just feels like somehow this is supposed to involve her, and everyone is expecting her to show her face somewhere, somehow in AEW. We're all expecting it, even if it's not true or planned or anything like that. We're all waiting for it. We know she's in New Japan. We know there's a working relationship. She already told us she can go anywhere she wants and work wherever she wants. We're waiting to see Mercedes in AEW. It looks like this storyline is supposed to tie in with her. We could be wrong. We could be wrong. We could be wrong.
I think we're just two hopeful fucking geeks that hopes Mercedes somehow is the savior of this division and the savior of this storyline. Because right now, honestly, there's no dialogue between Saraya and Britt Baker. There's no reason. They look like two geeks out there. They look like two trolls. That's basically what they're. They're two trolls, spray painting fucking shit, tearing people's signs down. I mean, the only thing that legitimately makes sense here is that they're working on behalf of somebody else who is somebody like Mercedes. And if this storyline doesn't pick up, bro, I don't even want Mercedes a part of this, to be quite honest. It's going to look bad for her.
They'll be involved in this shit. Yeah. It was a very soft and awkward double turn because it feels like Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter were just heels. And Saraya and Toni Storm were definitely baby faces. And it was just a soft double turn. Just like out of the blue after a match, Saraya and Toni Storm were like, hey, we're baby faces. Then you know what? Let's stomp it. And they just start stomping somebody and just turn heel. Nobody gave a shit. After we were still kind of confused. Are they heel now? We think they're heel. So to make sure that we knew they were heel, they started spray painting their opponents. This sucks, man.
It does suck. Listen, I want to tell you guys something. AEW has all the power. They are in control of everything that you see on television. I don't know who's in charge of the women's division. I don't know how much say Tony Khan has. I don't know if Kenny Omega's running the division. I don't know who's in charge there. They have every bit of power to make this a transcending priority. This is the one thing that's going to turn the page for the women's division, and they've not done it. No. So the lack of seeing this on television and the lack of dialogue and the fucking just lame duck feeling I have watching this play out, I get the sense that AEW doesn't really give a shit about the women's division, and it's not going anywhere because they don't want it to go anywhere. Are they waiting for Mercedes? I don't know. It certainly feels like this is all, like Jesse said, it certainly feels like we're waiting for Mercedes to come on in. And when she comes in, what's going to happen? Is that the explanation? Are we going to get the explanation from her? Why hasn't Saraya said anything? Saraya is one of the best women on the microphone that we have in the business, and she can't say anything. Can't say anything.
At this point, since there's no real story behind, I mean, I guess they say it's a story, but it's not one that we really care about. As far as Mercedes goes, I just want to see Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter. That's all I really want to see.
Whatever.
That's it. I mean, and there's no story behind that. It's just at this point, I'm not expecting a big long drug out storyline. I just want to see Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter.
Did Sheeta go down with injury and they had to fucking stall this storyline? Because I know she was a major boy. I haven't seen Sheeta, heard about Sheeta. No Sheeta name mentioned. It was all about which side is she on. Now all of a sudden, whose side is Ruby Soho on? I don't give a fuck about Ruby Soho.
Yeah,
who gives a shit?
Out. I was still waiting. I wanted to see more Serena Deeb. I don't know what happened to her. I think Serena Deeb was fantastic in the role that she was in. I don't know why she's not here anymore. I don't know if she's hurt. She's been gone a long time. Don't know what's going on.
So Ruby Soho was supposed to get a championship match. This is what I don't get. You rather book a championship match because Soho got a pin. Who did she pin? Britt Baker? She pinned Britt Baker in that tag team match, and all of a sudden that's warranted for a world title match against Jamie Hayter? I don't understand that. So you would rather do Ruby Soho and Jamie Hayter instead of doing Britt and Jamie versus Saraya and Toni Storm at the pay-per-view in a meaningful tag team match because that's who's involved here. And then maybe Ruby Soho comes out and makes her presence known on which side she's on. So, how are we going to get there with this triple threat match?
So if I'm trying to figure out where this is going and I'm not including Mercedes in this, then the only thing of major interest that can come from this is a massive Britt Baker heel turn on Jamie Hayter. And then they end up feuding for the women's title.
Well, I get where you're going with that. That's too soon for that.
I know. I mean, but otherwise, I don't see anything worth looking forward to in this entire women's division right now.
I don't know. This shit sucks. And we were not saying that 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. This was something that we were very excited about, and it's gone nowhere.
Yeah, because it started off nice, but then it's like you said, it's we're still there. We're still here. We haven't moved. So now it's getting
ever since that tag team match in Los Angeles, it's gone nowhere. Yeah. MJF and Bryan Danielson, easily the best thing on the entire show. Danielson made his way to the ring. He says it's great to be back in Phoenix. He lives in Phoenix with Bree and his daughter. Said it sounds like the fans want to see him win the AEW World Title at Revolution. Said he will do everything in his power to beat MJF for the title, but first he wanted to talk about MJF and what he said last week. He said MJF still says he hates him, so he tried to break the arm of a friend of his. He says he put a bounty on his head and tried to injure him. He said MJF hospitalized his mentor, William Regal. All of a sudden, MJF walks out. I didn't think we'd see MJF tonight, but he's out there. And he's very angry, very serious as MJF. He's not joking around tonight. He says he really knows who he is. He said he's the guy who has left or been left stranded by anyone he's opened up to, and he got thrown away like trash to anyone who claimed they loved him. He says, then he met a girl who changed his outlook on life. She convinced MJF not everyone in the world is bad. He says he got down on one knee and told her he wanted to make a home with her and have children with her. Do you know what she said? She said no, and she left me. She left me, Bryan. And then the fans in Phoenix are chanting, you deserve it. You deserve it to MJF. I laughed because I thought it was hilarious. MJF's getting very emotional here. He said, she left him because he is unlovable. So all he has left is Triple B, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. He said it's all that's stopping him from grabbing a fistful of pills and calling it a day. He says everyone loves Danielson. He said everyone looks up to him and respects him and screams yes. Of course, a yes chant broke out. He says he has a family, something he'll never have. He says he has a beautiful, smart wife and 2 children, and he takes it all for granted. He says he hates Danielson not just because the fans think they know him and like him. He says he hates him also because he's had more concussions and head trauma than anyone in the history of the business, and he's still in my sport, says MJF. He said every time Danielson steps in the ring, he's saying wrestling is more important than his family. He says he's spitting in his face every time he steps into the ring because he's taking everything he would kill for granted. He says he's no different than his worthless, drug-addicted mentor, Regal. He says he's worse because he's addicted to the spotlight. He said at Revolution he's going to punish him for trying to take away the one thing he has in his life, and he'll also punish him for everything he has taken for granted. He said he liked to speak directly to his children watching at home, and Bryan was like, don't you dare speak about my children or I'll kick the shit out of you. So MJF looked into the camera anyway and mentioned Danielson's daughter, Birdie, and said hi to her at home by name. He says he's going to make Dada pay for his selfishness and rip his arm out of its socket. And then he's going to make sure Dada can never play with you again. He says then he'll punch him in the head over and over and over again and give him a present early onset C, T, and before he could say E, they brawled. Danielson attacked him. Security ran out, pulled him apart. MJF tried to retreat to the door, and Jesse, Danielson leapt with a fucking forearm that looked like it knocked MJF out fucking cold. Fans were chanting, holy shit. And they literally dragged MJF's body away from the scene. And I know someone hit you up on Twitter to tell you what was going on there. So why don't you tell everybody what happened? Because it looked bad for MJF at the end of that segment.
It did. The running forearm. I thought it was a bad combination of the running forearm, and then it looked like MJF hit his head and clipped the edge of that table as he went down.
Yeah, which was already on its side.
Yeah, and then he didn't move. We just saw him being pulled by the refs and everything else. And then we saw one of the refs turn to the other group that was holding back Brian. And it looked like he kind of said something like, okay, no, like actually keep him back this time, you know? And then the camera never went back to MJF ever again. So I was worried that he was knocked out cold. And then one of our viewers, he tweeted us and said he was there live. And I asked him, I was like, hey, did MJF leave on his own power? And they said he was walking on his own power, kind of like being helped by security, which tells us that he's okay, because if he was hurt, he would have been down for an extended amount of time while the doctors came out and worked on him.
Yeah.
So, so it looks like he's fine. So that's actually good to hear. When MJF came out for this segment, though, I'm not gonna lie, it did. I don't want to say like it felt like I already knew the formula before he came out. He's going to come out. He's going to tell a personal story. It's going to get dark. And it's going to get real hilarious at some point. And then it's going to just end in him running away or pull apart. And it kind of happened just like that. So point is, yeah, the MJF promos, they're so fucking great. It's kind of hard to be like, oh, well, it should have been this, because they're great. But at this stage, I can see where the people who are saying that they're getting redundant, I can see that. Not that redundancy is bad, because his redundancy, it's still fucking excellent. It's still fucking fantastic.
I mean, were people calling Ric Flair redundant back in his day? I mean, he did the same shit every fucking interview.
No, he's not. No, but we're getting it. We're getting it kind of like, back to back with him. A little story. A little fire.
I mean,
the fucking
I don't find that argument to be valid, bro. I mean, like, I get what people are saying about MJF, but I mean, did they find The Rock redundant? Did they find Austin redundant? Did they find Cena redundant? Did they find Hogan redundant? I mean,
that's our generation. The new generation are.
Yeah, they got the brain. What the word I'm looking for? They got the attention span of a fucking fly. I mean,
yeah.
Holy shit. If you find MJF to be redundant, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, think about it, man. One of the most popular forms of social media right now is a platform where you have to do a video in like 15 seconds. They don't want to spend more than a few seconds on a video. This generation wants to just,
Listen, that may be the reason why Tony Khan didn't announce a fucking full card for the show 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. Maybe he thinks the AEW fans have an attention span of fucking 10 seconds. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, I guess so, man. But yeah, I can definitely see this generation just low patience, man. Just low patience. I mean, entirely.
I wonder how much of this story MJF told tonight was kind of riddled in some truth. We all know he got engaged to his soon-to-be wife now, who's an incredible artist, by the way. I'm actually thinking about buying something for her from her for the office. But I wonder how much truth was riddled in that story, because he likes to kind of blur the lines between what's a shoot and what's a work, which is one of the reasons why I appreciate him so much, because you never know. And his sob story. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's going to make MJF into a sympathetic figure going into this match." I mean, they were booing the shit out of him. I mean, they were chanting, "You deserve it." They weren't fucking sympathetic to it. They didn't give a fuck about any part of his story. But then he got into Danielson's kids and, saying William Regal's a drug addict and talking about Bryan's concussions. All that shit went out the window. So he turned on full-fledged heel after that point. I'm excited for this match, man. This is going to be a fucking absolute clinic at the pay-per-view. I can't wait to see what they do in 1 hour.
Yeah, this is going to be really good. Can't wait, man.
Tag Team Battle Royal. We got the winner getting a spot here in the Revolution Tag Team title match. Not going to go through it because I can't stand Battle Royals, traditional Battle Royals anyway. 18 minutes, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett win the Battle Royal, and they eliminate Trent as the final guy, and Jesse can't stand Jeff Jarrett. Bro, we got the Aussie Open in this thing. We got Top Flight in this thing. We got... who else was in this thing? The Lucha Brothers. People are saying MJF and his girlfriend broke up.
I think somebody said that.
They broke up.
I haven't heard it yet.
I mean, I'm not a geek that pays attention to these guys' personal lives. I mean, if that's the case, if MJF is listening, I apologize for getting the mistake wrong or the information wrong. That sucks. But it is what it is, man. Shit happens. I didn't know that. Why are we talking about MJF's personal fucking relationships on in the chat? Like, how does Sap know? Why does Sap know that?
You can say that about fucking anything that Sap reports, really.
I mean, whatever. Anyway, we got Jarrett and Lethal winning this thing.
Oh, fuck.
Bro, we got the Lucha Brothers, we got Aussie Open, we got Top Flight in this thing, and they end up going with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, man. It says a lot about where the status or where this tag team division is right now in AEW.
Why?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Why? All of this talent that we have in this company. Why? Jay Lethal's in that discussion? Goddamn right. Good. Why is his tag partner Jeff fucking Jarrett?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. Now, I get that they're doing the whole Acclaim thing, but, I mean, it's not their story. I get that they're involved with the Acclaim, but it's not their story. I don't know why we're adding Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to a story that should be about the Gun Club and the Acclaimed. Why? Again, another problem. Another problem with the booking of the show. Like...
Yeah, that's a whole other thing within itself. Like, why is there any other teams involved in that feud, first off? But second off, why is Jeff Jarrett at the top of it? I mean, what are we doing here, man?
I don't know.
This is nothing personal with Jeff Jarrett. If we were looking at Darby and Sting in that spot, I would still be sitting here saying, why? What the fuck are we doing? Why?
I don't know. Don't know. Jarrett and Lethal at the pay-per-view, they're one of... two teams that are going to be added to this thing on top of the Acclaimed and the Gun Club. So be it. We'll see how it plays out at the pay-per-view. Maybe that's the catalyst for a Billy Gunn heel turn and the Gun Club retaining their championships in that fatal four-way. I don't know.
That'd be great. That's what we were expecting.
Yeah.
But we don't need Jeff Jarrett to get there.
Just sounds like to me that Tony Khan wants to get as many people on the pay-per-view just for the sake of getting people on the pay-per-view. Not a fan of that. We got a vignette airing with Malachi addressing the Elite Net Trios titles. He says it's time to address a certain problem in AEW and get rid of a certain problem from the company. Buddy Matthews said that they like to address the Elite face-to-face on Rampage Friday. Why? You knew this was going to be a match at the pay-per-view, and then you want to put a face-to-face for the first time ever between these six guys on Rampage? Why isn't this on Dynamite? Why wasn't this on the show tonight? So we got to wait till Friday to get a face-to-face with these guys, and then that's going to leave 1 week and a half before the match takes place at the pay-per-view. Meanwhile, this should have been on tonight's show.
Yeah. Yep.
Are they going to give us the reason why they don't like the Elite and why they want to eradicate the Elite from AEW? What their problem is with the Elite?
Well, they took over the production truck and got their pictures flashed in. And
they beat up what's his name? Brandon Cutler.
They beat up Cutler. So now it's getting real. Now it's getting serious.
Yeah, it got real serious.
Yeah, real serious right there. They were mentioned on BTE. Okay, they were in the locker room, and Cutler turned off the lights, and then the Elite got really spooked. But then it was Cutler just saying, "Oh, it was me. Don't worry." And like, oh, okay. So that was a part of the build. And then it's time for the pay-per-view. Let's do it.
We should not be putting shit like this on Rampage. Boosting Rampage ratings is a lost cause. Nobody's watching Rampage.
Nobody can. People ask me all the time, "What do you think about the Rampage ratings?" Not only do people not care about the Rampage ratings, I don't think Tony Khan or Warner Media gives a shit about the Rampage ratings.
They don't. I can't see how they could.
Murder, She Wrote or CSI fucking Tallahassee is not gonna draw more ratings than a recorded Rampage. It's not.
Dynamite is your priority. This is a priority for your tag team titles. It should be on your A show. A promo between Malachi and him addressing Kenny Omega should be a fucking focal point on Dynamite, not Rampage. Give me a break. They're already fucking this shit up, and if it happens at the pay-per-view, who the fuck wins? I mentioned this on Friday, Jesse. We got the Elite just winning a best of 7. Do you plan on taking the titles off of them after they went 7 fucking weeks to win those titles? And if they retain the titles, are we beating the House of Black so soon in this feud? I mean, they cannot afford a loss, period. And I hate throwing the B word around, but I mean, it doesn't look good if they lose that match.
Where are the other trios matches in the division to qualify and get built up to get a shot at the champ? When you have a division, it's just like your world title division, just like your women's division. There's other matches that happen outside of the title match.
I don't know.
You build up a team to get there. House of Black just said, "Hey, we're next."
House of Black could have wrestled Dark Order. House of Black could have wrestled the Death Triangle. House of Black could have wrestled Best Friends. House of Black could have wrestled AR Fox and Top Flight. I mean, it's like 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks of matches right there.
House of Black showed up to the basketball court when there was a game going on, and when the game is still in the middle, House of Black said, "Hey, we got next," and everybody said, "Okay." And the game ended, and House of Black is in there next. That's the build-up. That's how they got there.
Oh, but it's going to be a great match. What are you complaining about great wrestling for, man? No, I want a story. We need a story. Malachi requested his release, got denied, took time off, came back to television. They've done nothing, and now you're throwing them into a match with no story. Is he fulfilled? I'd love to know. Doesn't look fulfilled to me. As a fan, I'm not fulfilled. But then Kenny Omega goes on Swerve's podcast and says he wants to have fun. Great. Because the Kenny Omega we've gotten, since you've been back, hasn't been the belt collector or the cleaner or the fucking best bout machine. I mean, you're having fun. Now it's time to get fucking serious.
No,
serious with 3 guys that deserve a fucking chance and should be on the fucking show weekly. Yeah. That's what needs to happen.
I think they're wasting resources putting Kenny Omega with the Bucks and the Elite together.
They are.
They really are. They really are. Kenny Omega needs to be in the world title picture somewhere, and the Bucks need to be in the tag division. And then we have plenty of trios teams to have a trios division without the Elite in it.
I mean, this is not it. Like your trios match that's going to get everybody excited is the House of Black versus the Blackpool Combat Club. That's the match. That was the match. That should have been the match. That should have been the finals. That should have been it. As soon as these titles were created, everybody was fantasy booking that match. That's the match. But Bryan's involved with MJF and the Elite. The Young Bucks are taken out of the tag team division. Kenny Omega's floating around, do whatever he wants. Everything's just all over the place. There's no organization. None. Adam Page can fucking team with the Young Bucks if they want to do something with the trios. I don't know. I don't know. It's just all over the place.
Adam Cole.
I
don't know how healthy he is coming back, but if he's not 100%, putting him in a trios program would be ideal.
I don't know.
So, don't know.
Anyway, moving on. We got the announcement. If anybody's joining late, Renee asked Tony Khan what the announcement is. Tony Khan said the announcement affects a lot of AEW wrestlers, so a wrestler should reveal it. Adam Cole walked in and TK walked away. Adam Cole said there will be a weekly 1-hour TV series immediately after Dynamite called AEW All Access with an unfiltered look at AEW. Trust me when I tell you this is something you don't want to miss. He says he'll get to show the details of his journey. He says he has more good news. He said the night Access debuts, he'll make his in-ring return to AEW. He says he's gone through hell for 6 months and he's imagined the day he will return to the ring. He says he's excited to show everyone he's the best version of himself. So he said he's back. So that's in March. So probably somewhere around after the pay-per-view, I'm assuming he'll be back. Listen, like we said, I think it's a positive for AEW. I don't know who's going to watch it. It's going to be a very niche audience watching that type of thing. Like you said, Jesse, it should realistically be looked at as a third hour of Dynamite, to be honest with you. I honestly think that's a great idea. Getting rid of Rampage, moving this over to Friday night, and extending Dynamite to 3 hours to give everybody just that sense of like, hey, Dynamite is 3 hours live, full of wrestling, storylines, captivating action, and just get rid of Rampage, man. I think Rampage is it's a Debbie Downer. It honestly is.
I agree. It is. Big Hodge in the house. Hodge, you went to the show. Hodge was at the show, man.
Hodge was at the show, yes.
Nice. It is. I mean, it's much. Trust me, man. I've thought about what I said before I said it tonight, and thought about it again. And yeah, man, I'm sorry. I agree, but I would rather Rampage in its current form not be there, and just make Dynamite 3 hours and get more people and use that extra hour of live TV wisely. Get more people on that people want to see on TV. I'd rather have another live hour of Dynamite than a recorded hour of Rampage.
Yep.
Use that hour on Friday night for this new show. I'm sorry, but Rampage is not working. When you get another night, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock start, Thursday, Tuesday, whatever, Saturday night, Sunday, who gives a fuck? I don't know. But when you get that slot in a 2-hour slot, live TV, that should be Rampage.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Main event, Evil Uno, Jon Moxley. This was more blood, as you would expect, with Jon Moxley. Evil Uno bled buckets at the end of this thing.
My God.
Blackpool Combat Club looked heelish in this at the end, too. This was fine for what it was. It went about 6-7 minutes. But Moxley wins here.
Too much blood.
There's a lot of blood. Imagine the blood that we're going to see at the pay-per-view with Adam Page and Jon Moxley in that Texas death match.
God.
Seriously. Anyway, Moxley was being beaten on, and Uno went to the top, hit a somersault senton before raining down some punches. Crowd was behind him in Fénix. Moxley recovered, sent Uno into the steps, outside head first, busting Uno open. A few shots to the head there. Uno fired back with multiple pile drivers, and he tried to go for it again. Moxley countered into some anvil elbows, rear naked choke. Uno was dripping blood as Moxley slapped on the bulldog choke. Uno was bleeding more. Moxley got the rear naked choke. Uno passed out. Moxley would not let go. John Silver and Alex Reynolds hit the ring to make the save. Claudio and Wheeler ran out to fend them off. Adam Page, seen enough of this, sprinted out to the ring with barbed wire wrapped around his fist and popped Moxley right in the face, busting him open. I'm sure Moxley loved that. Page tried for a buckshot lariat, but Moxley bailed to the ramp, and he's bleeding. As the show goes off the edge, you see Moxley fucking blood all over his face. And that's that's the final cell there for Moxley and Adam Page in the Texas death match at Revolution.
He was fucking... Well, first off, Uno was pouring. I think Uno went hard way, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. No. He was face down onto the chairs. He did it himself.
Yep.
And man, he was pouring through that mask. When you wear a mask and you blade like that, that makes it worse because then the blood starts to pool for a little bit before it starts to come out.
Now I had my head down. Did you physically see Uno blade?
It looked like he bladed when he was face down in that chair.
That's something that they have to fix. I mean, I don't want to see that shit on camera. The blade jobs, they need to be concealed a little bit better. Moxley's fucking bleeding everywhere. You see, week to week, you see Moxley blading himself. Takeshita, we saw Takeshita blade himself when MJF beat the shit out of him with the diamond ring.
Yeah. That's production's job. They're the ones supposed to be getting the live camera away from them while they're doing their bleed job. The guys get in position to be in the right spot, But I mean, if you got a fucking camera guy right on you, fucking watching you, why are you doing that? Move.
Yeah.
Look somewhere else.
Revolution is shaping up like this so far. What was announced tonight? MJF, Bryan, 60-minute Iron Man match. So you know that's gonna eat up. So imagine 60 minutes plus entrances and video package. You're probably looking at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Right there. Samoa Joe, Wardlow, TNT title. Jamie Hayter defends against Saraya and Ruby Soho with the AEW Women's title on the line. Has 3 matches there. Moxley, Adam Page, Texas Death Match. Jericho, Ricky Starks. Guns versus the Acclaim versus Jarrett and Lethal versus the winners of a tag team casino battle royale on Dynamite next week. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches right now. I'm assuming we're going to get Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. That's 7. Who else is going to be added to this show? I mean, is that it? Is that the extent of it? 7 matches for Revolution?
I mean, that's fine. Bro.
That's fine. I mean, I'm asking. I don't want 9 matches with a 1 hour Iron Man match. It's a pay-per-view. All we want, House of Black versus Elite, right? That's going to be
that's going to be there too.
So 8 matches.
This is AEW's wheelhouse, man. They put on banger matches. We're going into a pay-per-view. The stories are already supposed to be told. So on this night, just give us those bangers. So this is what they're going to do. And they're going to knock it out, man, because that's what they do.
Revolution's going to be great. I don't want to take anything away from Revolution. The House of Black versus the Elite does not need to be on the pay-per-view. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, not enough build-up, man.
I would end it with Jungle Boy and Christian and call it a day.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, MJF and Bryan are going to carry that show anyway. And then you got Moxley, Adam Page, Jericho, Starks, Hayter, Samoa Joe, Wardlow. It's a good card. It's a very good card. But I just think Tony Khan's going to overload it with fucking 9, 10 matches, and we're going to be there. We're going to be here till fucking 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for the Dynamite post. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I mean, there was a lot more people that showed up this week than they did last week. I mean, last week we had 1,500, 1,600 people. This week we had 2,200. So something happened tonight that you guys were very intrigued about. I don't know. I mean, I didn't come to the show clean shaven. I mean, I look like a fucking hobo, but no, I know it's not me or Jesse, so something must have happened tonight. What happened tonight? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe it's the fucking Bootios.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Do get some positive news. Thanks to our guy, our good listener of the show, Joshua. I got a HBO Max access code, man.
There you go. Now you can watch The Last of Us.
I will watch The Last. I probably will start watching it tonight, man.
There you go. Episode 1 is fantastic.
Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for all of your support. I would love if you hit the thumbs up. 744 likes right now. We are needing another 250. Can we get 1,000 likes on the stream tonight?
Let me give Josh a little super chat shout out type deal. He says, "Y'all are my guys. You and JD been watching him faithfully since WrestleMania 32 in Dallas." Thank you, Josh. We appreciate it, man.
What a terrible WrestleMania that was, huh?
Oh man, yeah, it was.
Thank you, Josh. Anyway, guys, hit that thumbs up if you can kindly do that for me, please. And super chats are open. Get them on in. It is now what I love to call last call in the OTS venue. Make sure you guys check out. I'm sorry.
No, go.
Make sure you guys check out the content on the channel and follow us on social media at JDfromNY206 and then at ChitownsMark on Twitter. And I will be live tomorrow afternoon to talk about this ridiculous rumor of Vince McMahon being back in creative that was started by SRS today and debunked by Wade Keller. I got a lot to say about it because I'm not happy. It's the second time we heard this rumor. There's something that someone is not telling us, and it wouldn't be reported if... Say again?
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I don't believe the fucking journalists in the community because clearly they won't be told if Vince McMahon's really in charge because then that would blow everybody's cover. Give me a break. So I'll be live tomorrow with that. So I will set the stream up, and hopefully you guys join me tomorrow. Should be a very, very good stream. Colin Hutton, 17 months in the venue. Blood has zero meaning in AEW. Moxley's matches, and most of them can't blade properly. AEW should save blood for when it makes the most sense. Yes, I agree. At pay-per-views, preferably. Not on Dynamite Weekly.
Did you see Hangman has new music?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, he has new music. Man.
I'm sure it's awesome because Mikey Ruckus is awesome.
Well, we didn't really get a chance to really hear it. They played it during a run-in and cut it short.
I have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
Tony Brown, $4.99. He said the meat was there.
Oh yeah.
Bro, it looks like we're getting more meat on Tony, bro. I have to admit, I'm a fan.
It's coming back. See,
It's coming back.
I'm gonna call it like I see it, bro.
I know.
It was going away, and I said, "Look, it's just going away." He know it. All kidding aside, all bullshit.
I mean, she never looked bad.
We're just shooting the shit, but we know it's just the.
She's
shorts.
always
That's
looked
all.
amazing.
It's just the shorts. That's all it is. You know, we kid. She looks amazing.
Omega Kong with 13 months. Fun show in Fénix, but me and my friends in the crowd are trolling the camera crew because Rampage is not live. I hope I don't get kicked out. Well, listen, bro, be careful.
Yeah, they have editors that'll fix all this.
Yeah. 13 months. I appreciate you, brother. Uncle Willie with 6 months. Hey, JD, just to update you, my pro wrestling journey is going okay. My training is good. At 16 years old, a 16-year-old is trying to break into this business. Hog one day. Listen, bro. Hog is open for business when you want to step foot in the ring with Amazing Red and have Red train you, bro. And good luck with that, man. Hopefully all is going well.
RDSX says, no, they said they played the wrong music for Hangman. That's what happened.
How does that happen?
Music. I don't know.
How do you play the wrong music?
Hey, man, not everybody can have Kevin Dunn, man.
No. JP5150 with 29 months. JD, I'm legit trying a new wine, at least new to me. It is known as Silver Ghost Cabernet Sauvignon. From what I have tasted, it is quite extraordinary.
Is it better than Pinot the Grigio?
Pinot Grigio?
Pinot.
I'm a Sauvignon Blanc type of guy when it comes to wine.
I don't drink wine, man.
Wine is good. Teddy Love. Say again?
Gives me a headache.
If you drink enough of it, yeah. Anything will give you a headache. Teddy Love with the 10 months. Great show tonight. Cheers, my OTS family. Thank you, Teddy Love. Jacob Smiling with 7 months. Hey, JD, just stopping in to tell you I appreciate you and all your hard work. And please, for the love of God, get Jeff Jarrett off my TV.
Oh, second net, man.
I thought he was being brought in to be head of live shows for them, bro. I didn't think he was going to be brought in as a weekly performer.
Again, so I'm clear because we don't get consistent viewers every time. I think the acquisition of Jeff Jarrett is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
He's a veteran. He's been in and all through this business. His knowledge would be welcomed backstage, I'm sure. We just don't need him on TV. That's it.
No. Ben's Xbox Fortress with 20 months. Thank you, bro. I'm honestly bored of AEW. Don't watch live anymore. It needs an injection of something. I sense that as well, bro. I mean, I do it because I support the company and the show. I got my own show. But I see where you come from. By Jan Worth with $1.99. Do you watch any YouTube channels outside of wrestling? I do. I watch a ton of Destiny 2 content creators, man. I like my guy Rick Kakis. I love Dado. I love Astacross. I watch Dr. Disrespect on the train ride home Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Who else? I don't know. Who else do I watch?
I watch quite a few. I listen to podcasts, too. I listen to, audio podcasts, like Crime and Sports.
Yep. I watch my guy, Mr. Soldier, play some Warzone at night when I'm bored.
There you go.
Glorious One with a $4.99. I swear to God, if AEW fumbles House of Black again after that great return, great new music that we only get to hear on Rampage, which I don't watch. Yeah, man, it doesn't look good for them. I mean, I can't see this match making sense at the pay-per-view. But we're going to get it because you know he's going to book it. Joseph Taylor with a $5 super chat. JD, Jesse, Excalibur last week called Tony and Saraya the freelancers. Okay.
No, I imagine he did. I didn't hear it.
I mean, they're the freelancers now. I mean, I guess they can't use the outsiders.
Hopefully they did an internet check before that.
Yeah, not like the Banger Bros.
Yeah, the sorority sisters.
Yeah. Ben Richardson with a $2 super chat. AEW, not the AEW I fell in love with. TK, you're fired. Andres17 with a $5 super chat. How much do y'all think poor acting skills play a role in TK not creating storylines? Example, Thunder Rosa. Thanks for everything y'all do. I mean, well, they got some of the best promo teachers that you could ask for backstage, so I don't know why anybody's acting skills would be terrible.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if they were giving great storyline, they just weren't being acted out correctly.
Yeah.
They're not getting great storylines.
Yeah, it's not being written for them.
Yeah, it's not being written. So.
AEW Mark with a $5 super chat. Turner said that AEW Dynamite brings in 4 million viewers weekly, and they just announced a 1-hour reality show premiering next month from Deadline. Yes. Yeah, we talked about it for the first half an hour of the show. Drizzy Drew with a $1.99. All three in the Blackpool Combat Club are going heel, man. I feel it.
Probably.
I could sense it. Good. Gaming in real time, 6 months. Wasn't there a report that Brock asked for Vince to book his matches after he returned? I wonder if that's why this is happening. You may be onto something, gaming in real time, but don't tell SRS.
It's possible.
He's got to be right about everything.
He did walk out.
He did walk out because Vince was not there.
You know, and then came back and has been on the show whenever they needed him. So maybe Vince is doing his stuff.
Golden Boy with a $5 super chat. I seen a report from Dave, and maybe that's why Brock has not had any new opponents since Bobby Lashley. Who booked that match last? Vince McMahon. Golden Boy with a $5 super chat. I seen a report from Dave Meltzer. WWE's going ahead with Brock versus Bobby Lashley versus Bright versus Omos. It was on SB Nation. I hope it's not true, bro. I mean, it just gets worse. That is legitimately that legitimately is AIDS. That match is AIDS. How is that even a thought?
I remember at one point, Lashley versus Lesnar was a dream match.
They're making it into a nightmare.
It's not good.
Do they want Bright to quit again? Is this their way of saying, hey man, quit, please?
There was no one, absolutely no one, even Roman. At one point, there was no one in this industry hotter than Bray Wyatt.
Ice fucking cold, bro. Ice cold.
Man.
That could be a thing. That could be, listen, man, that could be all we need as far as Vince McMahon being back, bro. There's something fishy going on there. How does he go from so hot to where he is now? Maybe Vince has something to do with that.
Dude, he hadn't even stepped foot in a ring yet, and he was the most talked about entity in all of pro wrestling.
He didn't wrestle one match since October, and he was the hottest guy in the industry. Now he's the coldest.
Omos. Omos with Wyatt, and like, what the
who could possibly imagine? Who could think that Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt is a good matchup? Awful. JDC Biggins with the 6 months. Happy to be here. Do you think Sammy has any shot of being world champion in 2023 after WrestleMania and storylines end? I don't think Sammy will be hot enough. Just wondering. Sammy won't be a champion in 2023, but I could absolutely see him being a world champion at some point before he retires.
Yeah, I can see it, man. I can see it happening. Depending on when they get those titles off of Roman.
Yep.
You know, if they come off of Roman right away, and they go on to Cody. If Cody ends up if those titles get separated, here's my prediction: if those titles get separated this year, Sami Zayn will become champion in 2020.
Yeah, definitely. Shat All Productions $4.99. Appreciate you guys, but I prefer AEW's light yet logical storytelling and heavy on matches versus WWE's talk fest shows with crazy stories.
To each his own.
To each his own, man. Enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you for the $4.99. Shatal. Kratos with 30 months. Haven't watched Wrestling Weekly for months because at this point in my life, I only watch you guys and sometimes Issa. Hashtag OTS for life. Hashtag future taco crew member. And we love Issa, so good on you.
I watch Issa every night, man.
There you go. Issa's great. Kratos, I got a God roll Wendigo last night.
What's your God roll, Kratos? I got 6 Wendigos, and I don't think I'm happy with any of them.
I got like 10 Wendigos, bro.
You happy with the? I've not had one good role that I'm like, yes, got this. I've had some decent roles, but I've had no one that's like, I want this one.
I got spike grenades, I got auto loading, I got explosive light, and I got a handling masterwork. You got to look for the blast radius masterwork, but listen, man, I got a couple of good ones. I got chain reaction and explosive light. I got a couple of good ones.
No, I got no explosive lights. I got velocity masterworks, and I got auto loading. I've got what's the golden try?
Golden tricorn?
Yeah, I got that one on one of them. Also just found out in today's Cactus stream that arc damage was not going to be getting the buff in next season.
No.
Which sucks because the Wendigo is fucking arc. They just told us this is going to be a go-to weapon, and now we found out that arc will never be a burn.
They trolled you. They trolled us.
They did. Arc will never... It could be heavy weapons, right? Or grenade launchers, right? But it would never be arc.
No.
It sucks.
It's all about Strand. Golden Boy with a $2 super chat. Also, Shayna and Rousey to win tag team titles from Damage Control. I don't think so. I think we're getting a 6-woman tag team match with Bayley next week, ruining the tag team title match, and then Trish Stratus comes out making it a 6-woman tag team match at WrestleMania. Shayna and Ronda, I don't think they have WrestleMania plans.
I think everything being done with the women's tag titles are all being done for Shayna and Ronda.
Yeah.
So whatever the end of that story is going to be Shayna and Ronda as champions for a long time.
Yeah. Bori got skills. $50 super chat. What's up, fellas? You need to watch Cobra Kai. I need you to carry me for new Destiny DLC. Just download it for PS5. Destiny 2 after 2 years. I got you, bro. I'm on daily. I'm on daily. I may be streaming Lightfall next week if I could fucking get on Tuesday. Thank you for the $50, brother. Hope you are very well, man. James with a 19 months, getting closer as each month passes. Keep up the grind, Jerry and Jesse. Also, much love to the OTS family with 19 months. Thank you, brother. Gary's Fear with a $10 super chat. Have Saraya say they aren't impressed by AEW's women. Then you have Ruby be the one to prove that AEW made her better and beat Saraya. Then you have a new star and would be next world champion and Ruby. It's simple. Yeah, you make it sound simple, but they haven't made it that way. Kid Revos with a $10 super chat. Is it me or is most of the heels in AEW jobbers and most big guys that should be pushed are sidelined to dark?
The world champion's a heel.
World champion's the biggest heel in the industry.
Yep.
What the fuck, boy, with the $4.99. Let's be real. I love AEW and TK, but he has bad booking right now. No storylines, really. We have a pay-per-view soon and really can't tell. OTS for life. Yeah.
Look, TK must be frustrated because it felt like it was 15 minutes ago we were all screaming that AEW's on a hot streak.
Yep.
And like one bad show and they were all like ready to condemn the fucking promotion.
Yep.
So he must be like, what the fuck? But that's why I say I get it, man. It is not easy.
No.
Guys, I hope you guys know that what we're asking for. I mean, yeah, as fans, we were asking for it because we want to see it. But just keep in mind, the shit that he has to do on a consistent basis, it's not easy.
No. King Mo Jackson with a $1.99. TK needs help with booking and stories. He's clueless. I wouldn't say he's clueless. He's just somebody that wears many hats. That doesn't need to be wearing many hats. He needs to wear one hat.
Yeah. My advice to TK, if he should ever be watching right now, seriously, unload anything ROH to someone else and let them deal with that and report to you.
Black Wolf Inc. with a $5 super chat. AEW badly needs a brand split and change Dark into a proper developmental system. They have enough for 2 rosters right now, but only MJF matters. I mean, they don't have enough TV time to do 2 rosters, bro.
Yeah.
Not enough TV time at all. King Mo, $1.99. TK needs you 2 as bookers and writers. They suck. They couldn't pay me enough, bro.
Oh, they could pay me enough. My DMs are open.
I don't know. Stu Sexton. As long as I can keep the podcast, then sure.
It's a hard job, man. I could not, in good faith, take that job and assure that I'm going to turn things around. It is such a hard job, and I already know that, man.
Stu Sexton with 36 months. Now that I can officially leave my milestone super chat, glad to be among the elite in the VIP and have this championship badge. OTS for life. That looks good on you, Stu. Thank you, brother. Now you need 48 months, and you are at the top of the mountain, bro. 48 months is that little Mustang badge, the Mustang pony. Love it. JDC Biggins with a $2 super chat. Hit the like button, people. Also, get that bootay, y'all. I will leave that to Tony Brown.
Tony Brown's job.
Captain Solo with a $2 super chat. Have either of you played the Last of Us games? Yes. Jesse just finished the first one. I played both of them and stopped halfway in the second one because I thought the story was terrible.
No, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
I downloaded part 2. I haven't started it yet. I wanted to watch the show up to that point.
Oh, there you go. They just renewed them for part 2 of the game.
Nice.
Jeremy Lewis with a $5 super chat. Oh, the blood that poured from Uno's mask. Omega needs to get back in the forefront by Double or Nothing. Otherwise, AEW will have growing problems. Fuck SRS and Jeff Jarrett.
Leave Snap alone, dude.
He's doing his job. Tell me how you really feel, bro.
He's doing his fucking job. He's not. We operate in the industry. Me, JD, SRS, Tony Khan. We operate in an industry where we are not gonna make everyone happy. You're just not. No. I don't give a fuck what you do. You will not make everyone happy. So just do your best. That's it.
Joseph Taylor with a $5 super chat. JD Jesse top 3 Finn Balor matches when he returned to NXT as the Prince.
I didn't watch any.
Joseph, I wish I could tell you, man. I kind of tuned out of NXT at that point when they wrestled in front of 2 fans.
I didn't watch
when
any.
NXT had fucking virtual screens up in the Performance Center, bro. I didn't watch.
Yeah.
The whole basis of the show was the fucking Full Sail crowd.
I love the Demon versus KO in the ladder match in NXT.
Yeah.
Fucking historic.
Adam Cole, maybe?
Oh, man. It's good shit, man.
Jeremy Lewis with an 18 months. I'll have that gold mic before the summer is out. Happy to see you on the TSP podcast today with Dr. Evil Genius. Great kickstart to my day. Yes, thank you, Jeremy. Genius and I did our thing in the gym today, and he wanted me to make a guest appearance on his show to pretty much, celebrate 1,000 subs over there. And Glorious with a $4.99. SRS says it wasn't confirmed about Vince, but still tweeted about it. That doesn't make sense to me because he wants to drive people to Fightful Select, bro. So it is what it is. He's got his own thing going on there. But like I said, man, and like Jesse said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And who's starting these rumors and why are they being reported and then immediately rebuked or fucking pulled down? Well, why are they debunked so quickly? Because they don't want you to know. But things are lining up that Vince could be back in charge, or he has some say in WrestleMania, which I already told you was going to be the case. Can you imagine Vince not booking anything for WrestleMania? He is WrestleMania. Give me a break.
Right. It's his baby, man.
He will be booking shit. Triple H already said, he confirmed that he talks to Vince about creative, and Vince gives him ideas. Vince is a part of creative, whether you want to believe it or not. As soon as Triple H says, yes, I talked to Vince about creative, then that deads all the rumor. Vince is a part of creative.
Yeah.
Michelle McLashing with a 5 months. Haven't watched AEW in a month. Depending on you boys to keep me posted, and as always, doing a great job. We got you, Michelle. Always. Every week. Always.
I'll say this about the Vince thing. It was one thing to have Triple H in charge and just use Vince as just a council, bounce ideas off of. And that seemed like something that, what's wrong with that? The guy lived his life in this business.
Yep.
The one thing that kept us comfortable in that spot was Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
And she's not there. So it'd take one good time for Triple H to be like, no, I don't like the idea. I'm not going to go with it. And then, Vince goes, well, you know what? Fuck you. We're doing it.
Yep. I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll be live. I'll set it up tomorrow morning. You guys will have all day to get in there and get your schedules ready. I'll be live tomorrow around, 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock. But anyway, guys, we're about to get out of here. I'm about to hop on Destiny and game for about an hour or two. I got to prep for this expansion coming out on Tuesday next week. But I appreciate you hopping on the stream tonight and chatting about some AEW Dynamite with us. We're about to get into Friday Night SmackDown on Friday. Should be a decent show. Where's Sammy going to be? What's KO going to be doing? What's Jey Uso going to be doing? So we'll talk about that. Carrying Cross, Rey Mysterio. We got hopefully some Hall of Fame inductions. I don't know why it's weird that they haven't done any Hall of Fame anything yet. 5 weeks, you know?
Ooh, does Triple H get to pick the Hall of Fame inductions?
Maybe.
Does
I don't know.
China.
I don't know. We will see.
Ooh.
Anyway, guys, tonight was a great stream. Hopefully there was a lot of good discussion that you got out of it. Hit that thumbs up. I see 821 likes. Can we get close to 1,000 on the stream? Please hit that thumbs up. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the recurring memberships. Always love seeing people excited to maintain their status in the VIP club. My Mother's Basement coming soon. You guys know the deal. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And please hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Next time you see me, we'll be live tomorrow night. Until then, guys, make sure you guys leave those ace emojis, those rock on emojis, those Mustang emojis in the chat. And I'm going to need you guys to turn that music, when you hear that guitar solo, up to max. I'll see you guys tomorrow night and then Friday live right here from the venue on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.